I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.
We have an army of digital soldiers. What we are now, what I call them, because this was an insurgency, folks. This was run like an insurgency. This was irregular warfare at its finest.
As the world watches and listens in horror, the peaceful pro-democracy demonstration in China comes to a violent and bloody end.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wolves hiding nearby, whispering do or die around me. You say your last good night while I
There is another very important phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
The target of psychological warfare is against the enemy's mind.
It is words and ideas.
The ammunition used by psywar.
Its mission is to influence the thoughts of the enemy soldier, and at the same time
is expected and encouraged to study foreign languages and the social sciences such as history, economics, and sociology. He must have a broad and sympathetic understanding of all phases of human experience.
gripping at my skin, the walls of night closing.
but the use of this force as an integral part of combat has now taken on new form.
As I wait to say my last goodbye.
These are the Psy-War soldiers.
What a time to be alive. Q After Hours, episode 6. Welcome, everybody. I think this is a show all of us, including myself, have been anticipating all day, considering what has been going on, especially the last few hours. Josh, my brother, Brad, my brother, how are you guys doing? Let's shoot the shit a little bit before we get into these ads in the show.
I'm doing good, dude. I am amped up right now. This is just, it just has that feeling in the air. I love it.
Well, we got an important day coming up.
We do.
December
Christmas
5th. December 5th. D5.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
actually, you know, I by the way, I'm doing well. It is 11:14 p.m. here Central Time. I didn't get any coffee, but I got enough drinks. I got a whole bunch of water, so we're gonna have some fun. I've been writing this blog all weekend. I finally got that out about Epstein exposing what the hell's really going on. And I have to do a part 2 because it's not done yet. And if I kept doing it, you ever get the Substack and they tell you you've reached your limit and you have to do a new one? Yeah, it was one of those.
You're like, what?
Yeah,
You know, one, I'm breaking the rules tonight for myself.
Ooh.
I
Have a beer?
promised I would
Oh, is this the
never,
police? No.
I promised I would never ever eat while doing a podcast. And tonight, baby,
Oh,
shit.
I got a bucket of popcorn, baby. I got 40 ounces of water. I'm probably gonna have to refill it, wash it down. It is going to be that kind of show. Let me ask you this before we get into the ads, and then I got a moto video for us to play to continue the momentum we have right now. What's something you really want to talk about tonight? Just a teaser, not going, full into it. Just something the audience can be like, oh shit, we're gonna go there. Okay.
well,
Go
can
ahead.
I start with a quote?
Go, hell yeah.
This is one of my favorite quotes of all time. It comes from the author of The Jungle Book, Rudyard Kipling. And if you remember, Trump always is putting out the If by Rudyard Kipling. But the quote is, words are the most powerful drug known to mankind, and I am but a dealer in words. Now, I think that's really important to kind of step into what we're about to talk to next, because you played some interesting videos at the beginning after our intro. And I want people to understand that the psychological environment is the key domain. Information is the key domain. And that what you are seeing isn't necessarily what you're seeing. What you are hearing isn't necessarily what you're hearing. The world is confusing for a reason, because if you're confused, the enemy is confused.
Yeah.
Brad, go ahead.
Was that good?
That was really, I almost feel like you knew. I almost feel like Josh was in my head, man. Like he knew where I was going, because he just sounds like he was prepared for that. That was good, man.
I mean, I'll piggyback off that and say that words are definitely important, and knowledge. It's the people who have the most knowledge or of any particular situation are the ones who are either the most comfy or the most tentative, depending on what that knowledge tells you. But you've been seeing a lot of fake manufactured anti-MAGA freakouts, right? But then you've also seen a lot of real people reacting to that and freaking out along with it and falling for it. And I would just say that those are the people who don't know the Q drops, who don't know the Q plan, who don't know what's going on. And by not knowing that, you can very easily be corralled into this sort of panic state. But this is why we're comfy here, man, because as we're going to go into a little bit, again, I'll tease a little bit. Trump and them, they're very much want us to know, especially tonight, that, bro, it's cool. Where what you think is happening is happening.
I agree. Before the show started, said a quick little prayer, God guide our words, let us deliver what not only our audience needs, what each one of us individually needs, what our country needs, and what humanity needs, but don't let us fall short. And we don't script our shows. Just for the audience that doesn't know that, we'll shoot some messages. Hey, I want to talk about this. Hey, I want to talk about that. But that's about the gist of it, And one, I truly appreciate that because it shows the level of trust and respect that each one of us has for each other coming into this show. And that's awesome because that I think that's what makes this show so authentic. We Q after hours. We know Q is being attacked like crazy right now. And especially the last few months when Trump started posting a certain account that had some artwork that amplified, all these Q assassins, right? To come in. And so here's what I'll share because you can't match freaking Josh's quote there, but I will try to match a personal experience that I feel we're all about to experience right now. When I was in the Marine Corps and I went to boot camp, there were different phases of boot camp. And in that boot camp, every time I entered one of those phases, I always thought, holy shit, this is it. This is the hard part. Like, wow. And in the beginning, it was just the change of lifestyle. And then it was the change of diet. And then it was acclimating to the absence of family and the people that I love. It was isolation. But it was an isolation that put me with a bunch of other people that were experiencing the same thing at the same time, which created this environment of trust, camaraderie, and ultimately, at the end of it, a perfect weapon. And, as we went through these 3 months, this evolution that every part, even though we didn't realize it, was preparing us for the next part. And when you got into that next part, you were like, wow, that retarded thing that we went of holding the water bottle like this and then our hand above it like this, walking around, and then you realize, oh, that's how you hold a grenade. And so you started to realize sometimes the things that don't make sense serve a purpose. And then right before you graduated and you got to the top of Mount Mother Effer and you got that eagle glow and anchor for the very first time, right before that evolution that we all know as the crucible started, you thought we went through the hardest part. Now we do this last evolution and we're done. But only to realize that last evolution of 3 days, 2.5 days it was all of everything you'd been through into one moment. And that moment was what was going to define you. If you quit, you never would have known what the glory is at the other end of that journey. And if I think any one of us would have attempted that crucible evolution on our own, I don't think anybody survives it. But because you were there with others at that exact moment, that apex moment together, you had to survive. And the reason it was because you weren't surviving it for you. You were surviving it for the entire team, the Marines. And I see us about to step into the crucible of humanity, of freedom, of Q.
So I wish I could have said my boot camp story before you said that one, because mine was very similar, but the Navy is retarded compared to the Marine Corps boot camp. But I want to tell the psychological warfare aspect of what they do to you when you go into boot camp. You arrive at, you go to the airport, you go to the kind of liaison with the military offices and you check in. They're all so nice and they want anything to drink, you want anything to eat, and they hoard everybody together. Okay, everybody get a nice single file line, and they get you into a bus and everybody sits down, and one of the RDCs comes on board. It's a drill instructor in the Navy RDC. They come on, they're like, hey, everybody, welcome. We're going to head on down the Great Lakes, and where you're going to get processed in, and everything's going to begin. Are you excited for this great adventure of your life? And everybody's like, yeah. Like, we're going to watch a short movie on the way there. And it's this movie, and it's like going through this whole regimen of what you're going to endure in boot camp. And it's all smiling people and fun and games, and then you pull in at like 2:00 in the morning at Great Lakes, and the door opens up, and this dude comes on board and goes, and everybody's talking. He goes, "Shut the fuck up! Sit the fuck down!" And he starts yelling and screaming. Everybody's like, "What? What? Get your asses out here! Line up!" And they immediately, "What's your social security number? What's your social security number?" And people are like, 10 or 105. What? Oh, there's no fucking O's and numbers. What are you doing? And it's immediate shock and awe. And the reason they do that is because you're moving from one world that you knew for the longest time, and you're about to enter a world of serious shit. And they do this psychological warfare act to get your head into the game for what is about to come. And I wish I could have prefaced what you said with that, because that was the beginning part. This is where we are at right now. We're on the bus. We're headed to boot camp, and we're about to get off the bus, and shit is about to hit the proverbial fan.
We are on that bus, bro. We are. It's almost like, I don't remember where the hell I heard this. Maybe it was on one of our podcasts. Maybe it was a movie. I don't even know. But it was something that, what's the difference between bravery and courage?
Yeah.
And, bravery is, a tough deed lands in your lap and you do it, right? You got to do it. And, whether it's, jumping off a bridge, like cliff diving, or, swimming with the sharks, whatever it is, like you do it because that moment just comes on you. Courage is coming right back around to the beginning of that and knowing everything that just happened in that and doing it anyways.
Right.
And when you were describing that, the bus right there, Josh, I was like, dude, it's like, I know we're about to step on those footprints. I know what that shit feels like, but it's like, let's fucking go. Like I ain't going back that way. Nope. That ain't happening.
There is no turning back. And see, we've talked about this multiple times, that Pandora's box has been opened. And not only with technology, artificial intelligence, and where the world's headed in that level, but also with the exposure campaign that is going on. So in order to understand how like the fourth turnings operate, is you have to destroy the old world infrastructure. And whether that is like quite literally the infrastructure, or whether that is the infrastructure of the globalists that have tied it together, right? And right now, the system is turning against the globalist infrastructure. It's saying, this old system, we're not doing this anymore. And here's the thing, it's fighting back. I'll say this. It's entrenched within Trump's team. I'm telling you, there are deep state actors all the way up to the top of Trump's team. I'm telling you, I think 2026 is going to be glorious, and a lot of these people are going to be showing their true colors and will be let out the door. I think there's reasons why Dan Scavino is getting into government, and I mean, he's been the assistant chief of staff for a long time, but now he's got them out there leading the personnel office for a reason. Trump is setting up the ultimate game changer, I think, and everything is just getting started. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm not a big fan. People know this. I actually reached out to her. I said, hey, let's come on a show and talk. But I'm not a big fan. But I'm telling you, this is part of the plan. This is part of the kayfabe of what's going on.
It's so funny because I know you guys said you were always on the fence with MTG, and then you think this is fake. And I've always really loved MTG. And man, I don't know. My gut tells me this one might be real, but it'll be interesting to see where it ends up. Either way, it all is net positive for us.
Well, you know what that is? Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Well, Trump came out today and he's like, I love Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's awesome. Look, I just disagreed with her on one thing, and, I get it. But, she actually did something very, very smart by resigning. See, she was about to face basically a primary to where she probably wouldn't have won. And so she's bowing out before that happens. And it's actually smart because now she has a political revival that she can bring about. I think she's going to run for governor of Georgia. That's just my thought.
She bowed out while she still had political momentum. And that is all signaling towards a move in another direction, whether it's the Senate, governor, whatever the case is. It's definitely a signal to that. To what you said right now, Brad, it's very important. We'll get into the ads and we'll get the show going. You know, me and Josh felt a certain way about MTG. You felt a different way about MTG. But then right now we're at this part of the hourglass where it's like we're shifting the potential of what it could be now. And I think a reason for that, Brad, and I think this is probably why a lot of the audience is here, is we're not so concrete in our positions that we're not willing to accept that maybe this is something else. And I'm open and I'm receptive to that. And to me, I think I've seen it a lot in a lot of people, and I think that's a maturity in the truth movement, to where it's not about I'm just going to defend this till the end because I got to be right. Because what if you are wrong? You know, what if it wasn't even wrong? What if you were right for that moment in time for the way it was supposed to be, but you're recognizing there's a shift here, and now there's a new way that this is supposed to be. And here's why. And I want for all of us to think about this as we move into the show tonight. I had been telling my audience for a very long time, there's going to be betrayals, and there's going to be betrayals that come from people you really like. Yep, and we've seen some of that in the last couple months, the last year. You know, arguably you can go longer than that, but particular to this year, we've seen that. I truly think a lot of the betrayals we've seen are controlled burns, because they wanted to prep the community to see what it's like when someone you've trusted for so long and relied on for so long flip the script for what you said, Josh. Shock and awe. Because the first time you're in battle and that hits next to you, you're holy shit. You know, your asshole puckers up. You don't shit for a week no matter what you eat because of that shock and awe, to the point where you're 3 months into war and it's like, phew, and you're just like, all right, you know, let's address the fire. Where's it coming from? Because you're used to it. Our minds and our bodies are so powerful. They acclimate to the craziest of scenarios. So if the Trump team did controlled burns of betrayals because they knew there were going to be some legitimate big betrayals to come at the most critical moments, people were going to be able to just push through that shock and awe because, oh, we've been here before. We know how this handles. We know how to regroup.
Yeah, 100%. And that kind of goes to my point where we've been seeing stuff throughout the years. I mean, you can go out again. Everyone has their theories, but technically Bill Barr was a betrayal. Technically Pence was a betrayal. Technically, there's a lot of people who still could go either way. We haven't seen a conclusion on whether or not this was just a controlled burn or real. And I think when it's done, we're going to find out that some of them actually were real. There are some people who just can't handle the heat, and they turn into Cypher and go take the stake in the Matrix. That's going to happen. Yep. And I like what you were saying about the open mind. And I certainly have an open mind. And like I said, I love Marjorie Taylor Greene. Hope this winds up being one of the ones that's control burn. But that's what the Q drops taught us. That's what it very much taught me, is to have an open mind. No one knows everything. And then also just the whole idea of this being a spy war with ghosts in the machine that works on both sides, to what Josh was saying, how he thinks that the other deep state definitely has people embedded in our side. There's no way around that. Of course they do. But we also absolutely have people embedded in their side. And that's why you have to have an open mind, because there's no way to be 100% sure of something. And you're right. I see people who take these positions where I've decided that this bad guy is definitely good, and everyone who's going against him, even Trump, it's got to be kayfabe because obviously he's good. Well, maybe, you know.
So take that and flip it though. Oh my God, that guy's bad. It
works both ways.
And all of a sudden,
yeah.
Wait, he's good. And
well,
so
1,000,000%. And someone could start off bad and really genuinely be flipped, or maybe he wasn't always bad in his heart, even though he was genuinely a bad guy for a while. And then he goes, this is my chance to be decent human being again, or maybe get into heaven or something.
Well,
you know?
And also when you get into the deep intricacies of how this intelligence apparatus operated, a lot of these people were put into positions and they're powerless.
That's exactly it.
Otherwise, right? So Trump remember what Q said. Trump is freeing a lot of the people that have been held prisoner. So we're going to get into this. I know Alpha wants to run a few of these things. I want to actually go over the deep state, and I want to talk a little bit about what the deep state actually is and why it's kind of, we have to change our perspective, because there's more than one deep state operating in our country.
Oh yeah, they tentatively work together. Some of these factions, without a doubt. Yeah.
The spoiler alert for me is, by the time this show is over, the main thing I want for the three of us and our audience is to realize that the most powerful weapon, and I could be wrong, but my opinion is that the most powerful weapon that exists for this phase that we're in right now, in this moment, is morale. Morale is an absolute weapon right now. And hopefully by the end of this show, each one of us can kind of check to see where our morale is. And if it's not in a way that is helping us and helping the movement, then we got to fix it. And so with that, let's pay some bills, boys. Little moto video after these. So it'll be 2 ads and a moto video. And I hope you guys are ready. Shit's going to be fire. Go get your popcorn. Go get your drink. If you already did all that, share it out. Let's make the crowd go big. So first on deck, where is it? Here it is, Van Man. You know about Van Man taking down big toothpaste with all natural oral care, right? It's the perfect time to grab the dental care bundle to gift. Van Man's tooth powder is loaded with minerals like eggshells and bone, and combined with pulling oils and peppermint, a low mouth rinse. It's truly the ultimate fluoride-free dental hygiene bundle that saves you 25% off the individual prices. And the Van never stops. Introducing Van Man's new Pearl Eye Cream and Sweet Onion Shampoo. Head over to badlandsmedia.tv/vanman to see what's new. That's badlandsmedia.tv/vanman.
What is the Sovereign Alliance? The Sovereign Alliance are a collection of leaders and countries that are aligned not in the vision for their countries, but against a vision that has been thrust upon them. I believe that the Sovereign Alliance is less a battle for something and more a battle against something. They are against globalism, collectivism. They are against the rules-based international order.
Sovereign Alliance, the latest addition to Badlands Rise merch, available now at badlandsmedia.tv/rise.
Ships on vigor of the waves of scamming, barren summits to the verdant place. Each horizon is a new beginning, rise and reign. Far from the fjords and the ice-cold currents, brave and soar over new frontiers. Swords and sagas of a big determined, shields and spears. House of labor or the thrill of plunder, pull together for the clan and kin. Clank of hammers and the crash of thunder, pound within.
I knew him as a man. I knew his weakness and his strength. But if you ask me, will we ever see his like again? I would say no.
To pluck the strings of destiny. Valhalla calling me. Valhalla calling me.
It's impossible.
I told you I can't kill him. Sails are swaying on the crimson rivers, clouding glory in the fighting field. Shields are shatter into splintered timber,
have the kings and queens, the jarls and earls of Norway, answered the summons of Bjorn Eidsand and came to save their country. For he was truly the king of all Norway, and no one else could have united all his people and brought them to victory over the Rus.
Love it.
It's motherfucking go time. Where are we starting, gents?
So let me go over so this is a big misconception that we say uni party, we say deep state, right? One thing I think people need to understand is that there's more than one deep state. These are factions, right? And from the Obama administration on forth, we began to see the liberals really take over and take control of this deep state. Prior to this, it was the neocons. And ideologically, they're different. We could align neocons more of a fascist control state, and then we could align the liberals more of a socialist, democratic socialist control state. Either way is that they are different. There's a new documentary out there, and I'm not meant to tell people to go watch it at your own will, called Age of Disclosure. It's about UFOs and aliens and that level of disclosure. But one thing that you'll notice is that these people associated with this level of intelligence were not read in. That they know little bits here and there. George Herbert Walker Bush, the head of the CIA, didn't have access to this information. Presidents didn't have, four-star generals didn't have access to this information. The Secretary of Defenses didn't have access to this information. And you got to start asking yourself why. But here's the thing, and everybody who talks in that film will tell you, Trump has access to that information. That Trump was read in on these projects. And I can tell you the guy who did it. Now, why is that important? Because within these black programs, these special access programs that our government has of exotic technology, exotic craft recovery programs, reverse engineering programs, is a technology that is so much more advanced and superior than anything that's on this planet that you can't even not fathom it. Here's the thing, is if that deep state owned and controlled that technology, we would already be enslaved. Now, if you start to look at this program that has came out, all of these guys, Lou Elizondo, all of these that have tried to bring this about, To the Stars Academy with Tom DeLonge is where it started. Who did they bring in as a political consultant? John Podesta. Well, that's kind of interesting. They brought John Podesta in, and you got Bill Clinton associated with all of this stuff. Well, why is that? You got Obama going out there and doing interviews and parts of his clips being used. This is because these people do not have access to this technology. Now you go into the mid 2000s, in the mid 2000s, and you get them trying to steal special access programs. SAPs. Go to the Q boards, type in SAP. You'll see what I'm talking about. Go to my blog. Go to watch my Q after my video Q on my Rumble channel. You'll see it was about SAP programs of how Q got started. And the reason being is because you cannot allow this technology to fall into the hands of this evil. And that's what this has really been all about. And so there's two deep state factions, and neither one of them have had control of this, which tells you one thing, that there's another secret faction operating, that there is people behind the scenes that are holding the torch, the flame of knowledge away from these people. And they've done it for a very long time, at least the last 80 years. And they've kept this technology out of the hands of the evil in the world, away from the Rothschilds, away from Obama, away from Bush, away from all of these people. And see, here's the thing, is now it's coming to that point where the hands are being forced, where this technology disclosure is going to have to come out. And we have to realign the world to be more conducive with people other than corporations. other than the big financial bankers, Silicon Valley, the corrupt, evil infrastructure that has been developed around it, because they are just waiting for this technology to come out into the commercial environment so they can utilize it to control and dominate over us. And this is where a lot of this is coming into play. And I'll tell you right now that Trump, he's that third faction. Trump is that third faction that is trying to decimate the infrastructure that was built by these other two factions that have been trying to get this technology out of these programs for the longest time. This is who we are dealing with. We are a part of something right now that is trying to preserve humanity and not allow it to get enslaved by this evil that has taken over this world very slowly for the last 200 years. And it's right now in the process of being dismantled. I hope that delivered right.
It did. It actually goes back, and I think we had this conversation too, Josh, with that video that Melania had put out with the technology. You know what I'm talking about? Where she said the technologies. You have it? If you have it,
pull it up. Yeah.
Okay, I was just because that plays kind of right into exactly what you're talking about right now. You know, and there's a lot of people that have a theory that she is also part of the Q team. And if that is the case, and then she put out this video, I mean, it really does support what you're saying. I don't know if you found it, you can cue it up. So
Lonnie is brilliant. I think that's a lot of what her and Donald see in each other is brilliance.
And my apologies to the YouTube family. It looks like YouTube is back up. It looks like they gave me a hand slap for playing the Valhalla video.
They do not like copyrighted music. Yeah, on live streams. Forgot about that.
So my apologies to everybody over there watching on YouTube. Thank you for sticking it out and not giving up on us, because Alpha went full retard right there. It was Moto. It was Moto. It is what it is. Do you have it, Josh? If not,
no, I can find it. I gotta find it.
Don't worry about it. It was just a short video where she comes out and she's talking about technology is going to be the way, and there's a new technology, and she goes to that. So I was just saying it just kind of cues up or supports the conversation that you're having right now. Go ahead, Brad. It looked like you're going to say something.
Yeah, I'll just say to Josh, I've kind of looked at these deep state kind of globalist factions the same way, is where there seems to be different people, the banking clans and the ones who are very in with the corporations and all these different factions that I've always kind of looked at it like the five families in New York. Mm-hmm. And, they're there. They definitely butt heads at times, but they definitely also work together at times to essentially run Manhattan, run New York City. Yeah, well, at least they used to. It's, you can argue of how much that is currently, but that's how I look at a lot of these deep state factions. I don't think they're all the best friends that we think they are, but they sure as hell are all okay working together to keep the little man down and controlled. They're controllable.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, let me rewind this a real quick second. There's two videos that I want to play. They're both very short. One's 24 seconds. I think the other one's like 18 seconds. And people, I'm pretty sure, have seen this. One is with President Trump and MBS. The other one is with President Trump and Mondami. And the reason is in the teaser video that we played with the Ghost of the Machine video 1, there's these lyrics that just resonated with me today when I was listening to them earlier in the day. And it goes, "Wolves hiding nearby." And then the next line is, "Whispering, do or die around me." And then it says, "You say your last goodbyes." And then the next text that appears on the screen is very important, and I'll read that. But when it says wolves hiding nearby, I mean, this is the infiltration. This is kind of what you were talking about, Brad, as well. We've infiltrated them. They've infiltrated us. We see it on social media. We'll get into the conversation, I'm sure, at some point in the show tonight about.
I love how you rip them, by the way. On you guys aren't following Alpha's X. It's delightful.
they get so.
All right, let me play this real quick.
All right, fire it off.
Technology is changing the art of war. Predictably, AI will alter war more profoundly than any technology since nuclear weapons. The most significant change will be speed. Speed in weaponry, decision-making, detection, attack, and defense. Artificial intelligence will take center stage in the theater of war. It already plays a meaningful role on the battlefield. Of course, it is the Marine who will always play the most critical role in realizing mission success.
Profound. There's a lot said in that.
There's a lot right there. It's kind of divine because I wrote down, she said something right now that plays into the text that comes on the screen after that. And I'll read it one last time, but I was going into the part of, wolves hiding nearby. And we have that on social media, alt media, mainstream media, in our everyday. There's an infiltration by the deep state into every apparatus of our lives, the banking, the schooling, our religious institutions. So when it says wolves hiding nearby, like that's literal, right?
Yeah.
It really is that. And then it says whispering, do or die around me. And there's a lot of different interpretations to that, but specific to this show is they're trying to get you to abandon your belief or your knowledge of the boards. They want it to die. They want Q to die. And the only way Q dies is if you allow yourself to be susceptible to that. And then this is this is powerful to me. You say your last goodbyes. So, Josh, when you're in the military, when is it typically that you're saying your last goodbyes to your loved ones?
No, when you're ready to deploy and there's an imminent threat of danger.
When you're about to ship off to war. Absolutely. And then right after it says, you say your last goodbyes, it has another set of words. And then the text on the screen says, this plays into what Melania just said, all the world's a stage. And what did Melania just say? AI will take center stage in the theater of war. So,
and she said it already plays a huge role.
So I'm just saying, if all the world's a stage and AI is going to be center stage in the theater of war, then I think it's safe to say that we are definitely in World War III in some capacity. And I think we've done a good job of kind of articulating that. But I mean, are people looking at it like that? Is our audience? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the live chat. Do you realize that we're in a war?
And on top of that, I think AI played a big role because if we look at where AI is today, I want people to understand that AI's probably been around for a lot longer.
If it's that hate us now, then absolutely, yeah.
Right. It's been around for a lot longer. And the Pentagon's been using very primitive kind of chat GPT 1 or 2.0 type of systems since 2009. And you want to know who the company it was that brought that about for the Pentagon? Palantir.
Yeah.
Palantir.
Notable.
Now, who was one of the people that supported Donald Trump during his first campaign for presidency? Peter Thiel.
Yep.
Who was his technology advisor? Peter Thiel. When did the Q boards come up? Right after that. You would need Q to organize something this big, or you need an AI to organize something this big. But I also want to point out something here.
Oh shit! What did Melania say? What did Melania say about at the last second? And you know, I got a freaking hard on when she said it because she said the Marines. What did she say specifically about the Marines?
The Marines play the most critical role.
Okay, and what? You just brought up what company, what software?
Oh, are you going to mention?
I'm going there, Brad. I'm going there. Which company, Josh?
Palantir.
And who is the main guy from Palantir?
Peter Thiel.
And who was one of his, I guess you could say, proteges or pupils?
Oh, J.D. Vance.
Who is the what?
Well, he's a Marine. He's the vice president.
He's a Marine and he's the vice president.
Good connection. So interesting enough, though, I want to go back to General Quast on the Sean Ryan podcast. of one of the things that he said on the Sean Ryan podcast. Let me see if I can find this clip, because
That's a must watch too.
This is so critically important for people to understand. Okay.
And then I'll get into those 2 videos. So chat, I didn't forget about them. We're going to get into those videos right now.
Yeah, so it's so far down my timeline and it's not coming up, but I want to see if I can find this.
Well, here, let me play I'll play these 2 videos to buy you.
Okay, you do that, and I will find this video.
And so just remember, as we're thinking of these videos, all the world's a stage. All right, that's where we're going. So the first video, because in the order of dates, I think this was November 18th or 17th, was this one right here. This comes from Ghost Base of Patrick Henry's timeline, but let me hit play.
And also, before I come here, someone told me that there is in some of the bidding sites that they are bidding on me wearing black suits, and if you bid on me wearing black suits, I'm coming here with the black suits, they're gonna get almost 17x. So I want to tell them
you're gonna get 17x, and look at the smile on Trump's face, bro. Look at the grin on the president's face right after he said that. Now I'm gonna pull that one off. I'll play the next one real quick. So that was with MBS. This next one comes from our brother Jordan Sather, a fellow brother over here at Badlands, his page. And this is also just a few seconds. Let me get this on the screen. Here we go. Oops, let me rewind it. All right, and let me bring it up so we can all see it. All right, and again, this comes from Jordan Sather's page. And listen to the number dropped here.
I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1. Then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, that's getting a little bit interesting, right?
Then it goes up to 17, and there's a little trust there, right? And again, look at his face. He's having such a good time when he drops this type of information.
Well, I think he pulled Mamdani back into a back room and said, come here, boy. Let me show you a little something here.
Very
and I think that he humbled Mamdani. And you heard Mamdani came after that. And the news reporter after the Trump, he did an interview like a few days later. The guy asked him, they said, well, do you think he's a fascist? He goes, yeah, I do. Because nothing's changed in my thoughts on Trump. But I'm positive Trump humbled him. But I want people to listen to this part right here. This is so important to understand what General Quast says here. As in everything I was already explaining.
Eventually, what we may see is what was revealed when Edison and Tesla were first delivering electricity to the human race. And you touched on this earlier in our conversation where you said, well, the Rockefellers, the way to monetize or to be able to monitor how much electricity you're using and getting money from you was a dial that was run by the electrical wire that was going through it. And I could come and read the meter at your house and say, you owe me $100 because how much electricity you used. They, back in the day, didn't know how to monetize radio waves. Well, we know how to monetize them now, your cell phone. We know exactly how much data you use, and I know exactly how much to charge you for it, or your satellite TV, or your Starlink antenna getting broadband from Elon Musk's constellation. So we know how to monetize radio waves. That's a no-brainer. But when Edison and Tesla were doing their little competition, Edison won out initially because it was easy to monetize his. Tesla was, I think, the superior thinker, and AC power and DC power are thanks to Edison and Tesla, okay? But there was something else Tesla did that looked like magic that did not get put into play, and it was the beaming of power, okay? What is interesting about this is that it didn't get put into play because, again, Edison was a better marketer, and it was easy to monetize his invention. And we're still stuck in that paradigm. But it's a paradigm of low efficiency. It's a paradigm of danger. We still put little baby plugs in our electrical outlets because if you stick your finger in that thing or you stick a knife into it, you're going to die. And that ain't good. And it's right there. The bathtub and the blow dryer, you're going to die. That's not good. But we live with it because that's what we came in, and that's what everybody, it's back to innovation. Why haven't we innovated? But what's interesting about what Tesla did with beaming energy is a lot of that literature went into the hands of the Trump family. President Trump talks about this. Okay.
I'll play that little part again.
Of the Trump family. President Trump talks about this. Okay. And so we've now.
So why is that so critically important?
Uncle John Trump, baby.
That's right. Yep. Uncle John Trump. Yep. So John Trump, MIT, he is the one in 1942 when Tesla passes away. He's the guy that comes down to the New Yorker in New York City. He goes through Tesla's safe. He goes through the files. He goes to the basement, grabs Nikola Tesla's boxes, goes through everything, takes it all back to the MIT, gets all the patent records, all of this stuff, goes through all of it, keeps a log and a record book. But what then happened during the same time frame? You have World War II, you have the Manhattan Project, and then you have Roswell, New Mexico, 1947.
Yep.
My theory is that John Trump was probably one of the premier scientists from MIT that was invited to work on these projects, brought in to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, 1947, around August timeframe, into the Roswell Project to say, what is this? Because he was one of the only people on the planet with the knowledge of technology far beyond our understanding, because he's the one who went through all the Tesla files, reverse engineered it. You got to remember what Tesla did prior to his death. He built a death ray, a directed energy weapon, and
Yep.
he sent it. He sent the blueprints for it to Russia, Italy, the United States, and I think at the time, Great Britain. He said at the four corners of the earth. And the reason he did that is because he said, if we're going to use this type of weaponry, you all got to work together to figure out how to use it. And he said different parts of the blueprints to different parts of the world. From what I gather, the Russians easily figured it out, and the Americans did as well. And this is how we got directed energy weapons directly from Tesla. But it would have been John Trump who would have led those types of projects. Now, one of the things that I think people are going to start hearing about in a lot of these SAP programs is called, so we have something that's called, if you watch Age of Disclosure, they talk about legacy programs, but there's also called legacy families. Legacy families are families of people who are within the Manhattan Project that the government went through and put these kids, their children, through universities. They put them and got them graduate level degrees, PhDs, so forth, and then they retained them in special access programs. And these people went on to work in the government labs and research labs and black projects and for defense contractors working on these highly top secret projects. And now their kids are working on these. So these are legacy families. Now, if you think about it, it makes sense in the context of intelligence, right? If you want to contain something and compartmentalize it so that it doesn't get out, you keep it within a family lineage. So if John Trump was associated with that, and John Trump had no kids, who would have been one of the people that he recruited in his family? Donald J. Trump.
And he talks about how he was close with his Uncle John too.
That's right.
Yep.
That Donald J. Trump most likely became this person who was recruited by John Trump into this and said, hey, we have a very special part of our family that's here to preserve this information, this knowledge, and help keep contained this technology so the evil in the world can't go out and use it. And Trump did what? He went out there and I want people to know that if you're a billionaire, you're not like a millionaire. You're not like an average person. You have a network of people. You have your own intelligence apparatus. You could probably call up a mercenary group and hire them to go fight a war for you if you needed some land in the middle of Africa. These people are incredibly powerful with their money. And Trump utilized that power to build, I believe, a clandestine network within his own infrastructure over the course of the last 30 to 40 years that has allowed everything that we're seeing right now to come to fruition. That behind Donald Trump is an army of digital soldiers, an army of people who are there to preserve knowledge, truth, and justice. And I think that this is all coming about through this idea of legacy families and the preservation to ensure that the technology that was being developed in this world does not fall into the hands of the evil and the corrupt.
I like that. I actually think we can segue into the conversation that I think is on everybody's mind right now. And let me present it this way to both of you guys, because you just described a good foundational concept of how we got to where we are right now. So why is everybody freaking out right now. MTG said there's no 4D plan. That's okay, though. That's okay because, MTG might not be good anyways, right? She might be a traitor, so we don't have to worry about that. Oh, shit. Hold on. General Flynn came out, said there ain't no plan. Ain't no one coming to save you. People are ringing out, the fire.
Well, he said there's no
alarm.
5D plan.
There's no 5D plan. People are pulling the fire alarms. People are looking for their parachutes, and there's all this panic. But what happened before those statements were made? You gotta pay attention, folks, and because this is my operational mind. This is the way I look at things. That's why I like being on shows with you guys, because I know we all look at these things from different perspectives. And I've said this quite a few times, especially when you come to operational security. You guys have heard me say tickle the wire. When we're doing an investigation and we're starting to, run dry on leads, or we're trying to figure out who are the last remaining, people that are bad that we probably hadn't figured out, we'll go and we'll put out a fake news story.
Mm-hmm.
But before we put that fake news story out, we're monitoring the wire. So this way, when the fake news story goes out and the gang members read it and they get on the social media, they start texting each other, messaging each other, phone calling each other, we get to see that. Well, what happened before these statements were made? Elon came out and said, hey, I'm going to lift the dress up on X, and everybody's going to see who got boy parts and who's got girly parts, right?
Yes, sir.
And by that, what do I mean? He said where you started your account when you created it, where you're using your account right now, and what app store. And with that, we saw instant panic. Some of the fan favorites, Nigeria, Austria, Mexico, right? All these different places, around the world. And it was one of the funniest things that I read on social media, where Elon doing that turned all of the American Anons into ICE workers. Like everybody started deporting people. Like, hell no, that person ain't in the group no more. That you saw guys saying, oh man, that hot chick, what? From Serbia, from Nigeria, what? East Asia, what? I'm probably
Sar.
It was absolute hilarious. But the key was right before you saw two big names come out and say something that was going to stir up social media, Elon opened up the door so that when all these accounts started to come out and say, see, we told you Q's bogus. See, we told you this person wasn't there. What did everybody start doing? I'm going to click on the link and see where this person's from. Oh, they're from Canada. They ain't even American. Oh, and what did people see? Why are all these people that are attacking Q not even American?
Yes.
So
that's brilliant. That's a brilliant 1-2 punch right there. I like that. I like that you're putting those together.
And why is that important? Again, we know loyalty is everything for Trump, but also, how we kind of started the show. Before you go into the crucible, you got to know who's with you. Because if you go into the most dangerous part of a mission and you haven't figured out who the infiltrators are, there's a strong likelihood that you ain't going to survive it.
That's
right. Because they're going to sabotage you.
Well, it goes back to also what the Democrats came out and did by undermining the constitutional authority of the commander in chief by telling the military to disobey unlawful orders. It's the same thing. Is if you go into the crucible with people who have doubt in their mind, or people who are thinking that they can disobey direct orders in a matter of life and death, guess what? People are going to die, and it's not a good situation. Now, you mentioned 4D chess and 5D chess. I want to tip on this because I don't think people saw that as well. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, there is no plan. Trump isn't playing 4D chess. General Flynn earlier today posted on someone's post, and he says, there is no 5D chess being played. Everyone needs to understand that what you see is what you get. Well, guess what? That in itself is a very interesting statement. Number one is he one-upped Marjorie Taylor Greene. He didn't say 4D chess, he said 5D chess. Number two is he says everyone needs to understand that what you see is what you get. Well, guess what? We know what we see. We are watching what Donald Trump has been doing. And guess what? There's absolutely a plan in what he is doing.
Right.
But also, Flynn, he posted this at noon, okay? Now, 5D chess. When it comes from Flynn, I got to look at the numbers, buddy. And D is the fourth letter in the alphabet. So 5 and 4 is 54. And on the boards, for I know the plans I have for you, declare the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. That's a Q post.
Is that the hold on? Is that the Jeremiah one?
I don't know if it's a Jeremiah one. Let me see. It might be.
Because last week, one of us came across something.
Jeremiah 29:11. Jeremiah 29:11.
Q after hours last week. We came across a post. Now I got to go back and watch last week's show to see what the context was. Because it's as a matter of fact, somebody in tonight's questions that I have, somebody brought that up and they're like, "Oh, that's Jeremiah." There was something there was something that happened in last week's show that when we were talking about it, it was that verse from Jeremiah. So we had that on last week's show, and that leads into the Flynn post with the 54 that you're talking about right there, Josh. There's a solid confirmation right there.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever, I'm sure they're watching tonight. Whoever sent, as a matter of fact, I know. Hold on. I got to guess. Let me pull this right here.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to pull Donald Trump's post up because.
So Jonesy Girl, 16. You're the one that put the comments surrounding Jeremiah, the 29:11. If you can remind me what exactly was the context of that in our last show, that would definitely help tonight. If not, then after the show tonight, I'll go back.
Please let us know. So then Donald Trump, I mean, he's been posting all day, but he posts these timber shit, and then all of a sudden he switches and he starts posting deep fake quotes on X. And it starts out with 18 USC section 2387, which is talking about the Democrats that came out and called for the unlawful orders, right? So this is where it gets interesting. We go through, and all the posts that he starts doing from here are all about illegal orders.
Yep.
Right? So you got military, and then you get into this, and you go through all these posts. And there's only one post that actually isn't about that. So then he starts posting spiritual SF17, spiritual Street Fighter 17, right? And then we get here, do it Q, time will obliterate the deep state, posted by Donald Trump. TikTok by Donald Trump. Remember your oath. And by the way, remember your oath. That's a big part. I think this is unlawful. This is a great example of what we're talking about here. I think that this is unlawful. Well, you're taking heavy fire and lives are at risk. Exactly what we were just talking about. And then there's this video right here. Video right there. And then I think it's this one. Nope. Then he goes into Glenn Beck talking about it. This one. So then he posts this one in the middle of it all, which doesn't have to deal with that one. Oh, this was actually after. Okay. So this was the end of it. Now, in total, there was 18 posts. Okay. Now, this is where it gets crazy.
That'd been cool if it was 17.
Well, it kind of was 17. And the reason I say that it was kind of 17 is because there is one post in here, right here. Scott Bessent, Democrats closed again January. So this post right here was the only thing that was out of line with the rest of the posts. Okay. So he starts at 6:33 p.m. my time, Central Time. Okay. He posts 18 posts, 17 related to the sedition that we just saw.
Sedition.
Okay. So 17 plus one more post is how many? 17, 18, 18, 17 plus one, Q plus, right? But then you go up here, and this is where it gets interesting. And this is what everybody here will know. So 6:33. And this one should have been at 6:47. Hold on. 220. Oh, these are just. Did you see the server thing come up?
Yeah, we'll click at the top of it there. Yeah, yeah.
But this is showing the other video that he posted. This isn't this video. This isn't this post. It's not showing that post timestamp. It's showing this video's timestamp. Well, that's 220. Okay, 8:59. So it's weird because on my phone, and I got a picture of this, and I'll bring up the picture unless he reposted it again. This picture, I have a timestamp on right on my phone because I took a picture of all of these, is 8:47 p.m., which is exactly 14 minutes in that spring of 17, 18 posts. So 14 is what? That's basically the keystone. Military is the only way. Q post 14. So I found this hugely interesting that he posted that directly after, not directly, hours after Flynn posted that. And I didn't do the time difference between Flynn's post and Trump's post, but I guarantee there's a correlation. And I'll pull up this last one here.
See that?
What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, where to start? You know what?
On the army one, that I think that is unlawful. I have it's 4:47 my time, so that would be 7:47 Eastern. So I got 7:47 on the. I think that is unlawful.
Yep.
Well, I got something for you, Josh. Let me. Do I have this here? Let me pull this up here. When you put in, and this is unplanned. This goes to what Alpha was saying. When I got two things, and I'll do some after this too. But when you put in the word sedition, how many posts come up? 14 posts. You just said 14 minutes, right? So that's just something I done before. So that's very interesting. And as he's been posting a lot about that, Trump seems to be taking this very seriously. I don't blame him. I think it's very serious what they did. And it feels like things are ramping up with it. Also, too, is one of the posts that you were showing there is saying that the Dems who just called for a military reset are being investigated by military courts, is what Trump just said.
Yep.
Which definitely ramps this up. So I was looking up sedition in the drops, and I came across this. And it says treasonous acts, sedition against the Republic, the people of the United States. Start lead-in. And this feels like a start of a real ramp up right here with things getting serious. I thought that was interesting that one of the posts about sedition, they're calling it the start and lead-in. And I think they might bring actual charges on them. It sounds like they're getting serious about it. Donald Trump has not stopped talking about it, like you're saying. He keeps going about it, and they're trying to kind of sweep it under the rug, but he's not letting them. Yep. So this could be the start of a lot of shit that we've been waiting for.
And Glenn Beck actually threw this up there. And this is one that Trump actually reposted. The law that Donald Trump is looking for, 18 U.S.C. 2387, activities affecting armed forces general. The statute makes it a federal crime to do any of the following with intent to interfere with U.S. military operations: advise, urge, or attempt to cause insubordination, disloyalty, mutiny, or refusal of duty among members of the U.S. military, obstruct or attempt to obstruct recruiting, enlistment, or general military operations, distribute written materials advocating any of the above. The law does not require advocating to overthrow the government. That is 2385. Section 2387 is specifically about undermining the functioning of the U.S. military. So this was absolutely a crime that they committed. Yeah. And when they said that they're looking into the military members, they mean people that came out there who were former active members of the military, like Senator Kelly. And guess what? They can recall them back to active duty. They can face a military court-martial or tribunal.
Boom, dude. Huge. And you know what? Q also calls to this in 3253. He points out what sedition means. And there you go. 2387. Obviously, they go through all the parts of it. But this is, again, that this is calling to things that we've been learning about, that they were making us aware of over the course of those drops. Everything is starting to come to a head right now.
Well, check this out, fellas. On this particular one right here, again, this is the 4:40 time you guys see is my Pacific time. So this would be 7:45 or 1945 military time. So if we go to the boards and we go to 1945, it's August 28, 2018 is the date. But here's what it is. It's FISA, and you go through, has all that information. But if we go down here to the post itself, define treason. Fact. The offense of attempting by overt acts to overthrow the government of the state to which the offender owes allegiance, or to kill, personally injure the sovereign or sovereign's family, the betrayal of a trust, treachery, define treason, fiction sample, and then it has all these different links that it goes into. Define projection, and what is the penalty for treason.
And I love this. So going back to one of the things that you guys were talking about earlier, and I think that it was Brad talking about the knowledge aspect of this. And I was writing something down when you were saying it because it was brilliant what you were saying, because you're spot on right. But those freaking out in panic, those speaking out in public who are scared, they don't have the knowledge of what is about to happen.
Right.
Those who are calm, cool, and collected are that way because they have the knowledge of what is about to happen.
Yes. And I think that's why General Flynn feels comfortable in saying things like, there's no 5D chess, because he knows that we already know what's going to happen. And, he could say that and, kind of light a fire under other people's ass. Obviously, we already have a fire lit under our ass. Nothing has been more motivating than these posts telling us to fight. We've given up our jobs for it. We spend countless hours. I know you guys, some of the hardest working people I know, I spend all day and night researching and making notes, and half the times 90% of it never makes my X profile and never even makes the shows, but it's just knowledge. You know what I mean? It's just the thirst to know.
I got more drafts
and
than posts. I got more drafts on X than posts.
Yes, exactly, dude.
Well, and another thing that what Flynn did is, what did you notice immediately began happening? All of those people started reposting. I told you there's something wrong with Flynn. He's not part of the team. It's all an op, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And they start exposing themselves. Yes. This is about expose. So, Alpha, you said something earlier. It's about loyalty. This is that loyalty drive. We're on that final stretch. And this is, hey, Marines, we're about to enter into that realm of combat. Who's with me and who's not? That's where we're at, boys.
Yeah. Dude, 1,000,000%. It also calls attention to the post. I'm going to pull it up one more time here so people can see. So what he's responding to is this, and it's just Trump with Burla, that's a Pfizer guy, and obviously Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and now Mamdani. And it says, at what point do you stop saying, hey, he's keeping his enemies close, bro, and admit your enemies are just all his buddies? I mean, he's not best friends with any of these people, but he's bringing them in. And the reason why I want to show that is because I want to show a video real quick first with it, and then I'll go back to it and make my point. This is something Trump shared today. And this is from our friend Patriots in Control. The man, he says in 2016, Larry Summers called Trump the gravest threat to America in his adult lifetime. Fast forward to today, and he's apologizing to his class for his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Why is it that all of Epstein's friends were so scared of a Trump presidency? Obviously, we already know, but now the world's starting to know as they're getting a dose of boomerang red pills with the things that have been released. But many of the people once fighting Trump, President Trump, with all their might, are either now shrinking away or apologizing or capitulating. And this post here, to go back to it, this post here shows some of the most powerful men on earth who were once working behind the scenes against humanity, now being brought in and made to use their resources and talents for humanity, right? If you're in a battle, this is Trump bringing these people in and saying, listen, you got a couple choices here. We could either do whatever we need to do to you because we know everything and we know what you've really been doing. Or you're going to take all that money and all those connections and everything you got, and you're going to start doing them for good. It's like battle. I'm curious to see what you guys think of this analogy, as you've actually been in battle. But if you happen upon a discarded enemy weapon, do you destroy it or you pick it up and use it? Like, say you're in the scramble, obviously, and there's a gun. Even if you're like urban warfare and you're in a shootout and you see the guy's gun rolls out, you'll be like, well, we better destroy that. That's something trying to get. So you pick that shit up and you freaking, if you need it, and you use it any way you can. And I believe whoever and whatever can be used will be used. I think that's what this is illustrating. I don't think they're going to be used for bad. He's bringing them in and trying to get them to invest into America in a good way for once and to use their powers for good. That's how I read a lot of what Trump's doing. He's been doing it since he's in. He tries to buzz people up. He gives them a chance to do good. Now, Mamdani is the one who I think he's giving this guy a chance, saying, hey, we could be friendly. You could do good. You have a chance to do good right now. You're the mayor of New York. I'm sure Trump will turn on him in half a second if he starts going bad, which I also don't think he'll do, because he's the first socialist, that outward socialist that they got in a big position of power. So they're probably going to make him just, if he's being controlled like we think, he'll probably just have a normal mayoralship. In my opinion, I think they'd be crazy if they just made him suck, because everyone would be like, see, I told you so, and it would never happen again. But yeah.
So I want to play something real quick.
Yes. Okay, good. And then I have a second part to this, for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So number one is, yes, though, in the comments said something, and they were spot on right. They said no 5DW, but just 5GW. Flynn wasn't saying, hey, there's no 5D chess. You're right. There wasn't no 5G chess. It's 5GW. But I want to play this real quick because Trump tells you right now there's no 5D chess.
The other leaders, they think that we're playing because they respected us for so many years, but especially in the last 4 or 5 years prior to this disaster happening, and they think we're playing 4-dimensional chess. Does that make sense? They say, there's no way this is happening. That country is too smart. It's 4-dimensional. President Xi probably has a meeting and he says, wait a minute, this can't be possible. They're too smart for that. It's 4-dimensional chess. Does anyone know what that means? I know what that means.
It's not 5D chess. It's 4D chess.
4-dimensional chess. There, you gotta freaking love it.
4D chess with 5GW.
Now, the second part, I did want to talk about that, which again goes to right there. They're actually saying what he's saying, but with General Flynn, and for people who haven't been watching everyone for so close, or again, who have the knowledge of what's been going on and what these people are actually trying to do. General Flynn has perpetually been on the mission of engaging the public and getting people to do stuff. He was doing it a lot right after the 2020 election with his local action equals national impact campaign, basically saying, go out there, run for office, be a part of it, get in the game. That is his main mission. So when he says things like this, I think a part of it is, as I was just saying before, is to get people to say, he doesn't want people to feel comfy, like there's something going on behind the scenes. I think this is a man who assesses the situation and says, the absolute way to get the maximum out of our movement right now is to make them think it's dire and they have to put their all into it at all times. And I don't blame him. I think that is the way. We're already doing that. But I think there are outliers, people who get in the Q message and what we learned in those drops, either by second or third sources, or even by plants who are purposely jacking the message, who are just getting the "it's cool, just chill" message. And I think General Flynn's always trying to break that up, because, and there's also a second part to that too, right? So like, say, oh my God, he's being for real and he's actually really frustrated. Well, we already know that President Trump offered General Flynn a few different times to be a part of this administration. So if he wasn't happy with the way things are going, take him up on his offer, jump in. You're one of the few people who have the chance to actually go in there and start doing things the way you think they should be doing them. And we all know, I'm fairly certain he already is. But again, if you're just looking at this from an outward normie level, do it. Tom Homan did it, right? Tom Homan was talking about how the illegal alien situation, and Trump called his bluff. He said that you don't like the way this is being handled? jump on board and do it. He brought him on, and ICE and Border Patrol is going nuts. Right, we've been watching it all year, and again, he said at that thing that he had offered Flynn a couple times already to be a part of this, and he turned him down. So we already know what's going on. This is why none of us are fazed by a comment like this.
100%. And let's listen to what Flynn says himself about his role with the administration.
That's why I'm glad to see the team that Trump has in there and the kinds of things that they're doing. And one of the big ones that people need to watch is, I think, watch Tulsi Gabbard as the director of national intelligence. She is going to reform. And I will say here that I do, and I stay in touch with her on a very close basis to, because why am I on the outside instead of on the inside? Trust me, folks, in your audience, I can be far more effective on the outside because I can be in a very, discreet advisory position to help guide people and say, look there. And that's
right.
what I do.
Hey,
and
on the outside,
and I know it's helpful.
That's where you got your hands on.
That's why I'm glad to see
a discrete advisory position where I can go, look here, look there. Now, interesting enough is the day of this post, that morning he had a meeting with Pete Hegseth at the Pentagon. 2 hours after that meeting,
Very notable.
the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, part of the National Security Council, was fired. Very notable.
Very notable. Yes. That's pretty telling right there, for sure.
Very telling. And so don't think that Flynn's not involved in any of this stuff. And all those people like, he should have been, Flynn said he was going to be part of the administration. He's not part of the administration. People, look what we just showed you. He's telling you straight up. And his objective.
Hey, I just said that.
He just said that. And that's what I'm saying is, what we have to understand is that Flynn is an integral part of what is happening. And like you and Alpha just saying, is that Flynn is running the ground operation. He is the leader of the digital soldiers and the Anons. Here's the thing is, you ever notice when Trump goes and do something, Mamdani, radical Islam, or anything like that, Flynn is out there immediately saying, President Trump, you need to look at this. You need to arrest these people. You need to do these types of things. What happened when Flynn said that today? Flynn said, you got to come out. All this treason, all these people, you got to arrest them. And then Trump went on that posting frenzy about sedition and treason, 1835, USC 35, 2357 or whatever it was. So as in, yes, I hear you, General Flynn, confirmed. I hear you, General Flynn, confirmed. But there's a swamp that exists around Donald Trump right now. We got to get rid of it. I think it's Susie Wiles, honestly. I think it's the Israel swamp that is really impeding in Trump's campaign right now. Now, what are the reasons because of that? There's two arch enemies out there, Netanyahu and Great Britain, MI6 and the Mossad. They are fighting for
power. Those have always been, they are
fighting for power and control. And a lot of the things, the Rothschild bankers are trying to get back control of Israel. And they're failing. One of the reasons why Trump allies himself with Netanyahu and with Israel is because of that, because it's an enemy of us as well. They are the cornerstone of the old guard, of the deep state, of the financial institutions that are backing all of this. Soros is family Y that derives directly from the Rothschild banking cartels. So we have to understand that there is this war of factions. I call it the War of the Roses happening right now.
Let me give you for those that didn't watch the show that I do on Saturdays called People, I do that on Badlands. And yesterday I had the honor of interviewing Kaidi, Defender of the Republic, phenomenal human being. And she dropped some exclusive information yesterday on that show.
Is this Mike Flynn Jr.'s wife?
Girlfriend. Or I don't think
they're
are they?
They're married. They're married.
They're married.
Pretty sure they're married.
I'm not sure. I don't want to say either or. I'm not positive. They're
almost positive.
There's a relationship there, though.
I was with him in DC, so at the inauguration, so pretty sure.
And in there, he provided. It's long. I'm going to give the short and skinny of it. There was information that needed to get delivered to President Trump, and it didn't. And what ended up getting found out is all information before it gets into the hands of President Trump has to go to Susie Wiles. So it's why didn't she provide that? As a matter of fact, I'll see if I can find that clip for you guys real quick so we can see, because it's a serious conversation, so I don't want to misstate anything there. So just
you're spot on. She is the gatekeeper, and she is the controller of information. So what's going on with Todd Blanche and investigating Ed Martin? Did you hear about this? That Ed Martin was given these reins to go out there and investigate all of this mortgage fraud, and now people went in there to testify, and they're asking him questions about Ed Martin's process of discovery and the way that he's prosecuting these. And that's Todd Blanche, the under Attorney General under Pam Bondi, and he's working directly through Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles is the one who directed him to investigate Ed Martin.
Interesting.
So what we need to do as Anons, as Badlanders, is we need to go out there and create an X storm. Fire Susie Wiles. Trump, you need to get rid of Susie Wiles now. We need to do it.
But he might be using her for a reason too. Well, let me ask you this, Josh. We see people, right, who have turned out to be snakes. I mean, this is going back to like Mick Masters in the beginning, where people were like, what the fuck, that guy? And then, of course, he gets shown the door and found out. And that's happened a lot, especially in the first administration. But it looks like things like this in this administration. Do you think Trump is being hoodwinked? Or do you think he knows and he's either using them for a reason or watching them? Or I am of the thought that there's a reason sometimes when he has some of these people around. I'm curious to see what you think of that.
Yeah, no, I think that there's a reason why she's around, but also what political dynasty does she come from? Bush family. Who just made an announcement that they're going to get back into politics and try to get back the Republican Party? Yeah. The Bush family. And I think that Susie Wiles is a neocon implant into the White House to basically undermine Trump, make him look bad make sure he doesn't undo all of this shit so they can get the Bushes back in. That's just my thought. But she's also directly
from her angle. Yeah. Oh, without doubt. Like, yeah, whoever there's a plant has their own marching orders for sure. Yeah, I agree.
But I think 2026,
Trump, I think,
the reason why you have Scavino operating the Office of Personnel, going out there and doing a lot of the hiring and firing for the White House and for the executive branch, is because I think that Susie Wiles will soon get fired and Dan Scavino is going to step in as chief of staff.
And that would make sense. You got to start bringing people in, getting them familiar with what's going on. It's funny. It's sort of parallels. It's obviously two pretty separate things. What's going on with the Department of Education right now? If anyone's been paying attention, the Department of Education, they've been taking a lot of the programs there and doling them off. They doled a few things off to Department of Labor, like the Office of Elementary and Second Elementary Education was given to the Department of Labor. This stuff has just started happening. The Office of Post-Secondary Education, Department of Labor, the Office of Indian Education, the Department of Interior, which makes sense because they actually deal with a lot of the Native American stuff with our country, and give them some things to HHS and Department of State. But basically, some of the things that will stay a little bit, especially for funding reasons, they're starting to put them off to other things. And people are like, why didn't they destroy the Department of Education yet? Well, they're doing it. This is the beginning. They already fired half of their staff. I think they reduced it from 4,000 positions to 2,000. That was early on. Now they're starting to take some of the programs and go through which ones are going to keep and which ones not. And they're doling them off to other agencies. This is the beginning. So what you're saying with Scavino makes sense. You start bringing him in, getting him familiar with these positions and stuff that would probably rerun through someone like Wiles in preparation for her exit.
Well, let me introduce this conversation real quick. I found it up and it's keyed up.
1 second before you do that, I just want to talk with you one thing on what Brad just said about Scavino. Susie Wiles, as chief of staff, she's the interconnectory mechanism between all of the executive branch. So she communicates with all the heads of all the aspects of the executive branch. She knows all the people and the places that have all the intelligence and give the directions. Hence why Dan Scavino going in there and doing the hiring and firing, he is the one that's going to put the people in the places. He's the one that's going to know all these heads. He's going to have all of the direct connections to the extent of the executive branch. So it's the perfect position prior to becoming chief of staff.
Here's what I'll say to consider too, regarding Susie Walls. And I saw someone in the chat put it, and I saw that as well. I absolutely trust Eagle Ed Martin.
Mhm.
And Ed Martin absolutely put out some very supportive information surrounding Susie Walls. If there is information that is, we want Trump to hear it, but Trump knows he's not supposed to hear it because certain things are supposed to happen in a certain sequence, he needs that plausible deniability. And there can be people in position to be like, I'll take the arrows of why I didn't get to him. And there's there. So just remember, it's, fifth generation warfare. All the world's a stage. Maybe she is bad. And this conversation that I'm about to bring on the screen definitely hints at that. So let me bring this up on the stage. This is from yesterday. If you guys don't know, this is Defender of the Republic, phenomenal human being, and I'll hit play. It should be less than 2 minutes.
She's awesome. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Good meaning. So no harm, no foul, even from the person that you're questioning.
Exactly right. That's why I told you intention matters. So I've seen way too many examples of her being a problem. And you want me to give you an exclusive that I've never put out publicly? I'll drop an exclusive. Okay. So remember the big, beautiful bill?
I do.
Okay. Trump was pushing that hard. Big, beautiful bill. You got to vote for it. Remember, he was going after the Republicans that weren't going to vote for it. Now, it went from the Senate to the House, Senate, House. It kept going back and forth. It was very, very weird. Now, the final version goes to the House. And on that night, I found this out, and I confirmed this is a true story. The night of the vote, and remember, for some reason, it happened like 10 o'clock at night. So this vote went to the House, and there were, I think the number was 13, don't quote me on that, but I think there were 13 Republican holdouts who were going to vote no on the big, beautiful bill. President Trump lost his mind. He calls into these congressmen and he's like, what are you doing? What is the problem? I told you to vote yes, right? Apparently these people in Congress said they changed the bill. They changed the bill. There are here are the issues in the bill. We tried to tell you. We sent a note with this person. Did you not get it? Why didn't the president get it? Because it went to a staffer who works for Susie Wiles. Everything that goes to the president has to go through her first. Why did she keep that from the president? I don't know. But that's just one example of many that I can tell you, which is why I'm going after Susie Wiles. But I was finally allowed to tell you that story, but that's an exclusive story.
Yeah, that's huge.
That is huge.
Yeah. The implications of that are massive.
Indeed.
And here's the thing, is he knows.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
well aware.
Yep. And that sucks because he's going to incur some damage with situations like that along the way. But he's without a doubt using her for some reason at the moment. Definitely.
I mean, it goes into, I mean, it's the whole Sun Tzu, right? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. And,
Go ahead. Don Corleone.
It also shows something. And I think that it's an imperative optic that we must understand is that the president really doesn't control the government. Is that there are people in the place to stop the president from getting the information that he needs at critical points. There are people in place to ensure that the president makes decisions that align with their agendas, with other people's agendas, corporate agendas, so forth, that are there. So I think that another part of this is optical, that we're meant to see this. Like Kash Patel comes out today.
Yeah,
Kash Patel comes out today and says that Thomas Crooks was a lone shooter and worked alone. Nobody fucking believes that. This is the most ridiculous shit in the world, right?
Thing. Yeah.
But here's the thing: is what happened? Well, this was shut down because we know who was connected to it, and there's some stuff about Charlie Kirk that's coming out right now. And look, we got to file all the angles. And there's some good intelligence actually behind this. And I know who it's coming from, CO and Candace Owens. I don't care what people think of her. I'm saying is that there's some good intel that is backing up what she's saying. That Macron, so this is what I want people to wrap their head around. Bridget Macron is a man, okay? But it's not just any man.
Allegedly.
No, well, okay, allegedly. But Macron himself was groomed.
She's a man, baby.
Macron himself was groomed into the position he was in. Well, guess what? This isn't some just pedophile that was like, hey, I'm going to go out there and groom this guy. This is part of a very, very dark and evil faction within this larger structure of this deep state globalist cabalic structure. This is the heart of MK Ultra. Okay? This is what Epstein was tied into. And so releasing that information, getting that information out there that Bridget Macron is a man and that the grooming was real, or what Candace Owens was claiming is true, this is horrifying to their whole infrastructure because they're everywhere. They're all integrated into government around the world. And so the idea that Macron would issue the hit on Charlie Kirk and on Candace Owens is actually very plausible.
Definitely plausible. And I'll give you guys a sneak peek into a theory. I'm actually going to discuss this at length on my show tomorrow, but here's a shortened version of another potential theory. And it's just because of what Candace Owens said in that post. She didn't just say that there was a threat against her.
Nope.
She said there was a threat against another journalist, a smaller name. Now, I found that very interesting. And the reason being is if you wanted to, and this is just a theory, folks, right? And like I said, I'll discuss it more at length on my show tomorrow. You guys can tune into that if you want. If that guy ends up getting taken out, what would that do to her? How would that resonate with people to what she outlined about the threat against her? It would definitely legitimize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like, see, I told you guys. Now, from a cop's perspective, detective, when someone comes out and says, there's a threat against me and him over there too, and him over there gets whacked, one of the people that we look at for motive,
it would be her.
The guy who said it
would be her. Because it's like, so they went after the littler target instead of you?
Yes.
Just something to think about, because there's a whole lot going on here. And when, and you even have General Flynn that came out and did a follow-up post. And he's like, and now what? Right? Because, the little kid that cried wolf over and over and over. And I love the fact that me and Josh approach I don't know where you're at on it, Brad, but I know me and Josh, we look at the Candace Owens scenario through two different lenses. And I appreciate that because it keeps
me. You also notice one thing about Candace, it's Israeli snipers working with French intelligence. Yeah, she's deviating away further and further away from Israel at this point. And you got to remember, her husband's a very powerful billionaire and very well influenced around the world. So we have to take everything that's happening with a grain of salt, but understand that she's a spokesperson for a faction. Okay? By GW. She's a spokesperson for a faction. Everything that she's telling you is probably not true, but it's leading you in a direction, right? It might be truth down that direction, but it's not all truth. Now, who was the ones that took out Charlie Kirk? I think we can truly understand that it was most likely the ones who had the most to gain. And I think that her earlier stuff that she's already hinted towards who these people were, that it was probably people on the inside, that this was coordinated. But it goes back to the Thomas Crooks things that I was just talking about. Thomas Crooks did not act alone. He was not a lone shooter. This is the biggest nonsense in the world. So why is the FBI coming out and saying this? Because covering it under the rug. Because
he had a cleanup crew go to his house after his death. How in the world did he act alone? Just with that information in of itself.
They were stationed in the building he was on the roof of. What are they, the fucking Keystone Cops? They couldn't, you know what I mean?
Now think optics. So now think optics. What is Cash telling you? Cash is telling you, I can't do my job.
Well,
I'm being influenced by people who are not letting me. That's what they're telling you. He can't come out and say it. He'll be fired. But he can show it to you. And what? He's showing you. Not only that, think about Pam Bondi. Whether I like Pam Bondi or not, or I think she's doing the right thing, the Epstein files. You go back to March of this year, Pam Bondi's like, I got the Epstein files on my desk. I've already looked through them. I watched videos. Oh my God, it's horrific. And then what happened? Oh, well, we got new information. Oh, there is no Epstein files. What? What the hell? They're showing you optics. We can't do our job because there's a force above us that is impeding that. So why is this important?
Exposure op.
It's an exposure op. Absolutely. It's showing that there's a hidden hand that's always controlling the influence of government. And I think that this hidden hand is going to be exposed because at the end of the day, something happened this last weekend. And people who are watching the economy and watching Bitcoin. So Donald Trump goes and meets with the Japanese prime minister, right, when he was over there. And she just got elected. He came out and said, oh, congratulations. I think he did a video conference. She came to the White House or something of this stuff. She was the first Japanese female prime minister. 2 weeks later, the Japanese bond rate skyrockets. And people started noticing that big financial institutions are dumping Bitcoin. And then after Bitcoin, the S&P 500 dumped. And this week, it's probably going to dump a lot more. Now, why is that happening? Because of the Japanese bond. Well, you have to understand what a carry trade is. The Japanese bond is typically very, very low, almost near 0%. It's done that way because of the way that the Japanese bond works in the sense of actually raising money to buy U.S. bonds. And then that U.S. bond funding actually funds the Japanese military with U.S. subsidies. Okay. But understand that financiers around the world, large banking and financial institutions, they will take advantage of the low JPY ratio, and they will basically buy tons of it and then borrow money directly from it because it has a certain level of stability because those buying rates are artificially low, and they'll borrow money against it on margin, and they'll go out there and guess what they'll buy? Bitcoin and tech stocks. So when the bond rate skyrockets, they get called on those margins on their carry trades, which means that they have to liquidate their positions. One thing that shows you is that the liquidity in the world, in the economic markets, is fake. It's all credit. It's all fake money. That the majority of the bubble that we are in economically is fake money, including Bitcoin. Not Bitcoin's fake money, but the money that is propping Bitcoin up and rising its price is fake money. It's all margin, right? Okay, that's the first thing. But this was a weapon. This was a weapon deployed by the globalists. This was happening at the same time that Donald Trump signed the bill to release the Epstein files. It was a shot across the bow. If you go down this road, we will crash your economy. We will take Bitcoin down with us. We'll take it all down, and all your promises will be worth nothing. Now, here's the thing. Why does that play into the role in the scenario? Why are the Democrats coming out at the same time and saying disobey unlawful orders? Because they know the Insurrection Act is coming. Well, what could bring about the Insurrection Act? Well, guess what? If you had economic collapse, severe economic decline, that brings it about. And the Epstein files was the tipping point for the global infrastructure, because the Epstein files, forget about Epstein. And I think this is what Donald Trump was trying to tell you. Forget about Epstein. The Epstein documents, the declassification of the Epstein documents shows something more important than Epstein. It shows how the intelligence apparatus system moves and operates with money, with dark money, with influence through the corporate infrastructure, through think tanks, through NGOs, through government, and how it controls everything below it. That's what the Epstein files will all show. It'll show how the system works. That's what my new Substack blog's about, how the system works and why it's so important. So they don't want you to know how the system works.
Let me ask you this real quick, and I'm drawing a brain fart. With regard to the boards, would you take a 12:15 a.m. timestamp at 24:15? You would take that as a 15, right?
Depends, 24:15 or 12:15, or you could also do 00:15.
00:15, because that's how it's structured. And I find that interesting for two reasons. 15 minutes after we started this show, Trump truth, his last truth. or the latest one, however you can look at it. I'll bring it up on the screen here, and I'll read it to you guys because I feel like it fits into this conversation kind of what you're talking about here. It's a lengthy one, but let me just read it, get into it. Despite the massive amount of money being made by the United States of America, hundreds of billions of dollars as a result of tariffs being charged to other countries, the full benefit of the tariffs has not yet been calculated, in that many of the buyers of goods and products, in order to avoid paying the tariffs in short term, stock up by purchasing far more inventory than they can use in order to avoid tariff payments in the short term. That heavy inventory purchase is now, however, wearing thin, and soon tariffs will be paid on everything they apply to without avoidance, and the amounts payable to the USA will skyrocket over and above the already historic levels of dollars received. These payments will be record-setting and put our nation on a new and unprecedented course. We are already the hottest country anywhere in the world, but this tariff power will bring America national security and wealth, the likes of which has never been seen before. Those opposing us are serving hostile foreign interests that are not aligned with the success, safety, and prosperity of the USA. They couldn't care less about us. I look so much forward to the United States Supreme Court's decision on this urgent and time-sensitive matter, so that we can continue in an uninterrupted manner to make America great again. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President. And of course, 9:15 my time would be 12:15 midnight, so 00:15 for me. Now, what this is interesting because it plays into exactly what you were just saying right now, that they're doing that threat out there, and it seems like he's getting ahead of this to let America know, if shit starts to go sideways, this is my plan for what's coming. There is a rescue net. But here's what's interesting. When you go to post 15 right here, and I'll zoom in so everybody can see this a little bit more. It's October 31st, and it says, there are more good people than bad. That really ties into what we've been talking about tonight. The wizards and the warlocks, inside term, will not allow another satanic evil, POS, control our country. Realize Soros, Clinton's, Obama, Putin, etc. are all controlled by three families. The fourth was removed post-Trump's victory. 11.3. Yeah. 11.3, Podesta indicted. 11.6, human indicted. Manafort was placed into Trump's camp, as well as others. That makes me think of the conversation we just had about Susie Wiles.
You're right.
Corruption that will come out is so serious that deals must be cut for people to walk away. Otherwise, 70% of elected politicians would be in jail. You are seeing it all already begin. A deep cleaning is occurring, and the prevention and defense of pure evil is occurring on a daily basis, which is exactly what Josh was just talking about. They never thought they were going to lose control of the presidency, not just the D's, and thought they had control since making past mistakes. JFK, Reagan, Godspeed, Patriots. P.S. Soros is targeted. And interesting enough, around the Soros is targeted, and you guys know I'm not a big fan of Mike Benz, but he did a phenomenal video. I saw it today. I don't know if it was made today. I'm assuming it was recently. It was actually my best friend that sent it to me. And he did a great, thorough rundown of Soros over a very extensive history of how and how long he's been involved with this deep state into our country and all these different things that play into
years.
Yeah. And so, you know, given that the timing of this, that's interesting. And before we end the show tonight, you know, when we do our wild predictions, just in case I forget mine, just remind me 11.3, and that'll regenerate my mind.
Now go back to Trump's post real quick.
Right, I want to say something on that too. I want to say something about tariffs really quick. What people don't realize about the tariffs and what everything in the MSM is trying to push right now, that they're putting the tariffs on the people and they're making you pay it. Well, some of those countries they're ramping up the prices, and they are making some of the consumers pay the tariffs right now. And what they're hoping is that they can push this and that they can upset people enough to where this fails and gets taken away. But what Trump's doing is he's sticking with it. And I'm happy he is, because this is only a short-term thing that's going on right now. As manufacturing starts coming back to the United States, and there's been a lot of work with that and a lot of more incentive for people to start back up or to move back, whatever it is, as manufacturing in the United States rises, then some of these things that are coming overseas that don't have much U.S. options to them, there starts being U.S. products, and the U.S. starts selling them for regular prices. And now those overseas, they can't put the tariffs on people. They need to re-lower their prices just to compete, and everyone wins out. And that's where the tariffs are going to explode. That's a big part of what's going to happen. And they're already making a ton of money of them. But once that starts kicking in, we're going to be golden. And Trump already said he wants to give some of it back to the people, but he also wants to use a big chunk of it to pay off the national debt. This is going to surprise a lot of people if we can get through this short-term hurt that the deep state is using all their powers to put on us and get through to the gains.
So one of the spot on, Brad, absolutely. I have a problem. Every time I read Trump's posts, I always read just all capitalized letters first. And so if you just think about the stock market and what I was saying, and you only read the capital letters, stock up,
baby.
USA skyrocket, record setting, power, USA, make America great again. Stock up. What does that mean? The stocks are down right now. The stocks are about to go up. They're about to skyrocket. It's going to be record setting, and it's going to bring massive power to the United States of America. We're going to make America great again. But he's also giving you a hint. Stock up. Stock up on Bitcoin. Stock up on stocks right now. It's going to skyrocket.
I bought some Bitcoin this morning, man, and I missed the low, but it might even go down more. I feel. But,
it's going to go down a little bit more. I think we're about 70. So I, by the way, it was funny. I did my crypto mastermind today. I do this every Sunday, and my last Sunday's chart was up there, and right at the bottom, I had where I thought Bitcoin was going to go, and it was rated 84 to 86,000, and I'm like, oh my God, look, it's nice. Exactly where it is today. And so I put new ones up there today of where I think it's going to go. It's going to go down lower. I think that this is good. I think that they're going to go full press on the economic collapse because we're in the point of a bubble. And the reason we have a bubble is because there's too much fake money, credit in the system. And you have to pull that credit out, which is a correction. But by pulling that out in that correction, you can cause a crash or a black swan. And they could easily do that if they wanted to right now. And I think that this might be one of the moves that they use against Trump.
Well, yeah. And they've done this before, obviously. What was it? January, February 2018, when all of a sudden Trump's economy was starting to take off, and then the stock market crashes 666 points. That shows that they have control. They were telling him they have control, and they were telling him we will do everything we can to hurt you. And they've done things like that before. And then, like you're saying, this is them trying to probably scare him, but it doesn't matter. It's already taken off.
Two things on this real quick is one, he left out his name on here. He just put president, but he left off Trump.
Oh shit.
So that caught my attention. The other thing is just off to the side here, this is a part of the truth page.
Interesting.
The trending topics, hashtag free Tina Peters, hashtag edition, hashtag Israel. Just saying that's what is trending on topics on Truth Social.
Love it. Freaking love it.
So, well, let me ask you this then. And then we'll get into the audience questions. Actually, we'll get into the audience questions because this will shift us into kind of like the prediction mode. So give me 1 second and let me go scroll to the top here to make it easier for me to read. All right, so here comes first question. And for those that this is the first time you're watching Q After Hours, we do another Q show on Tuesday nights here on Badlands as well at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. This show, what I really love is we have a very interactive part of the show. That's the part we're about to get into. And all the comments and stuff that you guys put, we'll go through those and we try to pick out a few questions, especially if there's some that are similar, because we know that that's somebody that's tapped into it. And so if you're going to watch the show next Sunday, which I hope you guys are, make sure you go and leave any questions. It doesn't even have to be questions about the topic from tonight. Just any Q questions you have, or just any good question in general, bring it there, and we'll, if it's one of the ones that we pick, we'll address it. We'll roundtable it right here in front of you guys. And so the first question we got, this comes from KRob79. It says, Josh, you said HRC being Madame Alice reference NYC. You know what? Let me bring this on the screen so you can see it too, just in case I'm butchering it with my reading. Let me see. Window here. Here we go. So it says, Josh, you said HRC being a Madame Alice reference, NYC being Wonderland, but Q 2050 says HRC equals Alice, SA equals Wonderland. Who are the White Rabbits? Reread drops regarding SA have faith, forgotten country. Q always seemed to me this Q referenced some dark shit that went down at Dopey's Palace in SA, likely on tape. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's how I always took it. Yeah, Wonderland being Saudi Arabia and Hillary at that in that instance, because there's also one where it says Q equals Alice. So I think they're saying Saudi Arabia is the bloody Wonderland, and when the Q Alice one, it was when they were in as the very beginning drops when they were in Saudi Arabia, right, with the purge and stuff. But then I think he's also talking about contextual with the HRC equals Alice, and meaning that some bad shit went on over there. I mean, that's how I always read it.
So I'm pulling something up here, and
let me know when you're ready to bring it up, and I'll bring this one down.
Yep. So I'm bringing it up now. This is Manhattan. All right.
Yeah, I know that place.
There's a Saudi Arabian embassy right there. All right. So one of the things that we learn is Central Park's right over here. Right. And did you know, if you go into Central Park, there is an Alice in, oh, look at that. Hi, Alice in Wonderland at Central Park. Oh, hi, Alice in Wonderland in Central Park. Right?
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland in Central Park. Interesting.
I've been in that statue.
Yep.
Yeah.
And did you know that there's a tunnel that runs right underneath this for the subway called the Q line?
Yep. The Q line. Yep.
The Q line runs right under Alice in Wonderland, right across from Fifth Ave. Interesting enough. And what is it? What is right across the street from this? Oh, the Carlisle Hotel. Oh, that's interesting. But when you start to go into all of this,
is that the Carlisle Hotel? Oh no, because it was in DC where they started, right?
There was something else over here, and I don't remember what it was because I'm going off of just memory from this breakdown that I did. There was something important right across the street from that. And anyways, what I'm showing you is
museum's right around there. Could it be that?
No, it wasn't the museum. It was
any yellow brick roads around there?
No, yellow brick roads.
Just saying, man. Just saying.
The consulate of France is right over there. But if you remember, during COVID, Pier 97 on the Hudson is where the USNS Mercy was, right?
Yep.
But right over here, we can type in Clinton Global Initiative, right? And I believe it should be right here. Oh, come on. It's in the middle of the ocean.
Dump that shit off.
What the fuck? That's kind of funny.
That's good.
Clinton Foundation, New York. So Clinton Foundation. So Clinton Foundation, New York.
The Clinton Foundation sleeps with the fishes. Godfather 3.
It's funny enough. It's right there. It will not show up anywhere. Okay, well that's good.
Well, they do, because they run stuff out of the city, because they moved to New York.
They run stuff, So they're actually about hop, skip, and a jump directly from the Saudi Arabian embassy consulate. So what I want people to know is that all the consulates are right there in Manhattan, in New York City.
Yep.
And underneath New York City, you have the old Dutch slave tunnels, which in the early 1900s, these were the butcher tunnels that were utilized to bring cattle. So back in the day, you could bring cattle right down the streets of Manhattan and you could take them to slaughter to the slaughterhouses. But once you got introduced to cars and electric rail cars, they had to bring them through the old Dutch slave tunnels. And this is where they brought them. Now, they didn't build the subways in these old Dutch slave tunnels. Guess what? Those tunnels still exist. in Manhattan. And guess what? They go from the pier of the Hudson and they go underneath the Clinton Foundation. They go underneath all the embassies. And if you were going to run a trafficking ring and bring kids off of a ship, off of a pier, and you're going to bring them for auction like the Saudi Arabians do in New York, where would you do it? You'd bring them through the Hudson, off the container, under those tunnels, directly into the Saudi Arabian embassy. You'd bring them into the embassy. You'd have everybody who enters the embassy come through the tunnels from the Clinton Foundation, having an event, or from all the other embassies. They would come up in there. They would do their bidding. They would take the kids out through the tunnels, and then they disperse through all various other places throughout New York City to get out of there. Why is Bloody Wonderland New York City? I just told you.
I like that.
Let me bring this up for you. So,
Hey,
I was doing the same thing
really
for
quick.
me.
Someone just said that Josh is find another island.
Josh is find another
Should have
island.
zoomed in on that.
So, what's interesting is I went to help Josh out and search out the Clinton Foundation, and it was doing the same thing to me. It was throwing me out to that same Northwest ocean. So what I did is I went and actually researched the Clinton Foundation to get the actual physical address from their website, removed their name. So here it is. So here's the physical address, and just so everybody can see it here, so they know it is 55 West 125th Street, 14th floor, New York, 127. And so
that's on the west side. Okay.
So here is that. Let me close this out real quick. Here's this. So Josh, you tell me where you would like me to go, and I'll follow your direction on here.
Well, hold on. Let me actually do this. I can go see. Oh, fucking I hate Odyssey. Never back up your stuff on Odyssey. I'm pulling up my actual video.
Oh,
How about that? I'll pull up the actual video of where I'm actually talking about. Let me find it.
I'm down with that. Nice. So, I don't want to carry on to the next one. Let me get back to the questions, and we'll go on to the next question, and we'll come back to that one when you're ready, Josh. Here we go. There it is. There it is. And here we go. Okay, so next question, and we'll come back to that once Josh has it ready, folks. This comes from Boycott YouTube. The other day, Josh Reid on his show said that the TV show The Blacklist was a very close example of how the elite run the world. Today they are talking about Epstein and the Black Book. Do you think The Blacklist could have been about Jeffrey Epstein and the Blacklist is the Black Book? Gents?
That's a very interesting assessment. That's crazy because when you start to watch The Blacklist, there is this kind of between Epstein and James Spader.
Is that the one you said was about like the CIA or something?
You gotta just go watch the first episode. Oh my god! If you
I
have
always say I'm
not
gonna
watched,
watch things, but then I get
you have not watched The Blacklist, go watch the first episode. He turns himself into the FBI, walking in. He's the most wanted man on the FBI list. He gets down on his knees and goes, "I'm here to make a deal. I'm about to expose a international criminal syndicate that is running the world."
Sick.
And he, in the whole 9 seasons and everything, is all about that. I found the video, but I'm waiting for it to start loading because you're on Odyssey, and Odyssey is antiquated.
Odyssey wasn't friendly with me.
And what I'll do is I'll actually throw this out and don't follow me here, but you can watch this video here, and maybe I'll pull it over to my Rumble. But I just threw that video up in the Rumble chat for everybody. I don't do anything on Odyssey anymore. It's just one of the places I backed up my videos.
Nice.
You let me know if I want to bring it up.
I forgot about Odyssey.
We got rug pulled on Odyssey. Had all those library tokens.
Oh, the library tokens. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
It went from $1 to like negative pennies. And they wouldn't let you cash them out. Yeah, they were fucking assholes.
Someone got rich off that.
Yep. Okay, let me see if I can get this going. It's a 35-minute episode. I go into some QD. Oh, it's buffering loading. So let it buffer and load. Let's go through some more questions. And then we'll get into it.
So then we got Liberty's Light. If Q is a Mossad or CIA op, then they failed miserably. I am not a Q follower. I'm a 60-year-old South Dakota normie who found John through X22 when I was searching for others who could see and would talk about the 2020 election being stolen. The amazing minds on Badlands have taught me more in 4 years than I've ever learned in my 56 years prior. Q is a real patriot plan, which is based on the Bible and God's plan, and I am grateful for all of you. Your comments to that, gents.
You know the gospel. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say real quick that I think it's very evident that the people behind the Q op are men of God. They definitely have strong faith. Yeah.
So, do you ever heard of the Gospel of Q? It's just the words of Jesus. Without
well, yeah,
Paul
yeah.
or
It's
any of that stuff.
well, that's a Gospel of Q is a theoretical book that they feel it. There's a lot of theories, which I don't know how much I agree with, but they theorize, these scholars from the 1800s, that the Book of Mark was written first. Again, and that doesn't really align with what the Bible kind of makes it seem like the Book of Matthew was written first, but that the Book of Matthew and the Book of Luke were basically taken. They have all these similarities that they feel were taken straight from the Book of Mark, and then they all, each have their own stuff, even things where they overlap. And they say, well, those extra things are from this thing that there must have been another account that existed, and they call that the Gospel of Q. But it's kind of theoretical in a way. Yeah.
I'm just saying, directly related to Jesus.
I know when I first looked into that, I was like, what? Because I want to say there was 2 apostles that they say contributed to the Gospel of Q or the Book of Q, because they only wanted to document his words and nothing outside of that. And I think it was God, I don't want to disclose which 2 it was because I'm going off memory here, but that there was 2 that contributed to it. So, but as far as the theory that, if Q was a Mossad or a CIA op, then it failed miserably. Here's the other thing too. If it started out as a bad guy psychological operation, it definitely got hijacked by the good guys and got mission oriented to something different, because it has absolutely created an environment and a community that you can't undo. Now remember, what's the purpose of a psychological operation? Control. Like that is the purpose of it. And when you look at the end product of Q, that it created something that's uncontrollable, and this is what the people that try to subvert Q keep saying. Oh, they always highlight the people that don't know about Q, right? They watched one video, or they're actually grifting off it. Trust the plan, bro. Then that means sit on your couch. The white knights are gonna come save you, bro. Right? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Those people don't know. They couldn't tell. They just have no clue what's going on, because the people that truly understand the boards realize that it is a call to action. It's creating people that independently or through synergy are going to come and say, hey, what is trying to be told to us? And so whether that curiosity or the intellectual mindset or a combination of both creates this like environment where you're fostering group think, but not group think in an echo chamber. Group think in, well, I think it's this. Well, I think it's that. Well, I think it's this. Well, let's all search these breadcrumbs and see what we find. And it never allowed itself to become static, because there was these constant things. And then the way it was developed is, future proofs past. Okay, you thought it was this at this moment, but what do you think in the year 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025? You see where I'm going? So it's this kind of living model of there's constant, context that you got to find to it. And there's these, what do the clues mean now? How does the picture change now? So because it's constantly evolving, it's anything but static. And so when you look at it that way, there's if it started out that way, it definitely didn't end that way, because it has created an army of digital soldiers that are not going to go to sleep.
Love it.
Going into the next question. This one comes from Mr. D H412. Storm is on the way. Does, and let me bring this on the screen so you guys can see it. Does 2 22 and 6-22, 2012 mean anything?
222, 6-22, and 2012. I would want to know the context of where that's coming from. Because they could lead you down a path, right?
No idea. I mean, context is everything.
Yeah, blank looking at it. Yeah, not off the hand. I mean, I know 2012 was a hot year for awakenings, right? A lot of the people were talking about, the world's going to end, the Mayan calendar and all that. And that kind of, inadvertently caused a lot of people to go down rabbit holes. But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, without any further information, I just look at this as, 2:22, either AM or PM on June 22nd of 2012. Like that's the most that I can make out of this. So Mr. D,
same AM, maybe we should look up what happened at that moment.
Yeah.
That's just like their birthday or some shit.
Oh, well, you're looking that one up from Mafdet. Says, OMG, you're talking about Donald Barr. Was just inspired to read a book written by him called Space Relations from back in 1973. Question mark. I've had to listen to the digital version on archive.org because I don't want to pay over $500 for a copy on eBay. I feel you on that one. That's what I said. Yeah, very interesting details in the book about human slavery farming humans, exactly the narrative that we have all heard about. Even creating child pornography on another planet where the elites run everything over the slave colony. Why is this author the father of AG and Off Planet? By the way, very similar narrative to the modern movie Jupiter Rising. And of course, it would be Jupiter. Same similar narrative talking about the harvesting Earth to make what we would be calling by no other name here, adrenochrome.
Oh.
A couple movies that I got to see. I haven't seen any of these movies, so definitely sparked my curiosity. I've heard of that Jupiter Rising, but I haven't seen it. So,
I haven't seen that either.
So carrying on to Snow 34. Love the show, gents. Josh is on another level. Indeed, he is. Great, he is back. This might save you some research time for next week, digging into the parts on the fourth PSYOP video. Analysis of Ghost in the Machine, a Psywar narrative decoding the language of fifth generation warfare. And with that, I remember this is what was going to cue me to play the newly released Ghost in the Machine video, which is 1 minute and 17 seconds. So here we'll hit play. And then
nice time right there.
Right. We'll hit play and then we'll have a conversation on their newly released video at Fourth PSYOPs.
Goddamn army.
There's another force applied in combat that we generally don't think of as a weapon of war. That weapon is words. Words are weapons.
Telling the truth is the only way in which to influence people.
This is psychological warfare.
They definitely know how to create conversation.
The first thing that jumps out to me is the flyers. Usually you drop flyers right before a bomb. So Is something getting ready to drop, man? Well, we've been seeing shit dropping all the time. When did that get released?
That dropped
a week or two.
That dropped on the afternoon or the evening. No, it was the day. I don't remember what part of the day, but it was the day that the House and the Senate passed the Epstein bill.
Oh shit.
That's the day that it dropped. I forget what time of the day it was. Actually, it was 10:01 a.m. East Coast. Because that was the Facebook time. Now I do remember because I did a post on it. So it was 10:01 a.m. Eastern time on Facebook, and I'm not sure what time it dropped that with regards to Instagram, because they never posted it on their YouTube. They dropped it on.
So that was just on the Instagram.
Yeah, they dropped it on Facebook and Instagram. One of the things that I found interesting on there was, I think it was either at the 19-second or 20-second frame, it flashed the X. And, we're constantly talking about, X being the new location for these comms, and we've seen it. So I saw that was interesting. And then, you're talking about what's the main theme of that. It's the delivery of propaganda. And we know that's going to be fired up. I know in the freeze frames, and I know Josh did a post on this too. He saw a freeze frame of Pepe. He saw a freeze frame. There was another. Two divisions.
First Anon psyops division, first civilian division, which was with Pepe. So I found that interesting. First Anon psyops division, and then you had the first Pepe or first civilian psyops division with Pepe. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool shit.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, there's a lot there that I still want to decode. So for the audience, if you want to do it, when it's showing the 12 military members standing, and you got the one that looks up into the sky and waves, there's a sequence of flashes there.
I'm watching that video of that I was looking for.
Oh,
it's long, but I'll just give everybody a taste of it. The kind of what we're talking about with New York City.
You got us all pumped up waiting for it. You can't deprive us of it now, bro. Come on.
So this is an old video. This is like old odds that the hotel, the first location of Godfather Part 3, 956 Fifth Avenue, right, is located right across the street from the Alice in Wonderland statue in Central Park. And if we bring this over here again, we see many references from Q about Godfather 3. See, Godfather Part 3 right there, Godfather 3 and Snow White, and this is Hillary in Saudi Arabia, Alice in Wonderland, Godfather 3, all next to each other. Okay, and there's a few other references in here. I didn't search for them here, so I'm not going to have them in red, but I think you get the gist of it. It's right here. Godfather 3, Alice in Wonderland. What is going on here? It's Q telling us that Godfather 3 and Alice in Wonderland have relevance. Manhattan, Mad Hatter, M.H., Land of Alice, Madam Alice, Clinton Foundation right in the center, human trafficking from the port being distributed amongst the hotels, Standard Hotel right down here. You have LDR's former business right here. You have the Saudi Arabian consulate. Now, here's something also interesting. What else do you see with all these posts? You see Lexington and Concord, right? Lexington, Concord, and 5-5. Now, I'm ready to show you a boom here. This is going to be quite interesting. I don't know if anybody else caught this. Right? I want you to also see this while this is loading. Hunter's Point. The hunters become the hunted. Interesting. But what I want you to see right here is this. This is Lexington Avenue. Okay? Lexington Avenue. And this is 55th Street. What is right there on Lexington and 55th? That's the Concord Hotel. Lexington Concord 5-5. So it goes into it deep, but you can understand where I was going during that time frame with a lot of this stuff.
Bro, you're going to leave us on a cliffhanger like that?
Yes. So, like, we're 1,000 years past all of this stuff, but I pull it together in the context of Hillary Clinton's emails with Martin Torrey, Mad Hatter, Madam Alice, how this all relates to this, going into the missing women throughout New York City, the human trafficking pandemic or epidemic that was occurring in New York City during that time. We talk about remember during COVID, they're flushing the tunnels. Remember, you remember the sewers were, the tops were flying off in New York City. There's a lot of stuff going on during that time. So this post goes into that. That was probably my largest video I ever did. I think I got like 8-9 million views on YouTube on that video.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to go back and grab it from the chat so I can.
This is also the one. I don't know if you guys remember this. Do you remember when the set command posted "Fly Eagles Fly"?
No, but that reminds me of "Fly Rothschild Fly."
Well, in the Q boards, you have "Fly Eagles Fly," and Eagles, if you don't remember, Eagle is the code name the Secret Service gave to Bill Clinton. And so LDR was talking to Bill Clinton, and this is when Q posted "Fly Eagles Fly," and then we just had another post come out from CENTCOM to where it was funny because it was right here. It was, like, I do the whole decode on that post in this video. But if people go out there and watch that, I mean, it's on. I don't care if I wouldn't follow it, but nothing is updated on that account, but it's a cool video to watch. Maybe I'll pull it down and throw it on my Rumble. But there's a CENTCOM post in 2020 that's "Fly Eagles Fly," talking about the F-15 Eagles.
Oh, nice.
Which correlated with a timestamp directly associated with all of it.
That's interesting.
Find "Fly Eagles Fly." I know there was "Fly Rothschild Fly."
Well, with the F-15,
180, post 180.
180. Okay.
With the F-15s, why that's interesting. I just did a show on Sunday with Ghost, or today. It's still Sunday.
Fly Eagles Fly.
Middle East in 20 minutes ish, which actually brought us closer to an hour. But you know, President Trump did the F-35 deal with Saudi Arabia and MBS, right?
Yeah.
Well, F-35.
The F-35, yes. But they're also going to get F-15s. Not sure which model, but they're also going to get that, including, I think it was like 300 of our, one of the versions of our M1 Abrams.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember the count on it. Ghost had it up on his Substack article. But yeah, there was going to be some F-15s that were in there. As a matter of fact, when the flyover happened over the White House, you had 3 F-35s and 3 F-15s.
There you go, Brad. CENTCOM, March 31st, 2020. "Fly Eagles Fly."
Freaking love it.
What's the date on that, Josh? Like the actual date?
March 31st, 2020.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, carrying on to our next question. Comes from Bonnie, or I'll bring it up so everybody can see. Bonnie Davy. Did you ever think about how the law of war manual and the war powers of the president gives the power to capture not only the real person, but also the persona of anyone involved in treasonous acts? That can account for all of the confusion about who is good and who is bad. They either have a role to play if they are the real person, or their persona is used to do what the white hats want, either by actor or CGI.
The law more manual and the
So separating the role from the actual intent. Now that's interesting. That can you only really want that to be happening if you truly trust the person at the helm, because they can pull a fast one on you. But fascinating though.
I mean, I think that it's very complex to kind of go in there, take out Bill Gates, replace him with a clone or with a mask or CGI and take over. It's very easy to just turn Bill Gates into someone who works for you. In the law of war manual, and the war powers are completely different things. Law of war manual is a manual. It's not law. It's not international law. It's a group of lawyers who basically built out a framework of international laws and U.S. military laws, incorporating all the ones from the various different branches of the military together in the context of what wartime commanders can utilize and how they should implement it. But it has no legal jurisdiction whatsoever. Whereas the war powers is the president's granted by the president through Eisenhower and Truman under kind of national security directives that came about. So a little bit different in the context there.
What I would add to that too is, and typically when people bring up the law of war manual, they're referencing 11.3, which is going to go into
belligerent occupation,
occupation, all that other stuff. I'm kind of the mindset too with Josh on this one, where it's easier, and I especially think through legal remedy, if you keep the person and flip them or leverage them, however you want to look at it, to do what you want them to keep doing, rather than plugging someone else in there. And one of the reasons why is if you remove the bad person and then replace someone into their persona, there's still
you lose that whole connectivity of what they know.
And that, but also on our side of things, like as the American populace, is you're still being victimized by the persona, regardless of who's behind the mask. You're still falling victim to that. There's still a crime being facilitated. So just because the person playing the role of that person is not that person they're playing the role of, if they're still doing something physical to that, in the, at least in the acting role of that, there's still an onus that comes with that. And so when we see, people really died during COVID, people really died during J6, people, there is an accountability that has to be had with that. So granted, I think we're all going to kind of figure out, what's the threshold for that, considering, we're at war. But I think that it's easier to flip. I think there's people we see right now that are doing things we like and doing things that we appreciate that aren't good people. These are people that got, brought in and said, you can either, fall victim to a death sentence when you go through your trial, or a life sentence, or you're going to facilitate what we want you here. And they're going to, do what we do to bad guys all the time, take them into a working informant.
It's exactly it. Is you bring Bill Gates in and you pull him into a private room and you show all the evidence you have against him, and you say, there's two things that are going to happen here. One, you're either going to give up all your ties to these people, begin working for us, feed us all the information, and do what we say. Or two, you're not leaving here. You're going to be going down an exit through a tunnel. You're going to go to Gitmo, and you're probably going to be, hung. And you're just going to say that you died in some car accident or plane accident.
Yeah, we're going to shove this bottle of mosquitoes down your fucking throat.
Right. And person in that situation is going to say, I'm absolutely going to work for you. And then what do? You give them, you say, you know what? Here's this deal in this contract that we're going to hand to you, and you're going to work for us now. It's like in the end of the Goonies when Chunk looks at Sloth and he says, you're going to come live with me now. And Sloth was like, right? Like this is how it's done.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that there are not doubles, because we know there's doubles. That's open. They do that as security measures and things like that, and that doesn't mean that normal, that's accepted. The CIA has revealed that already, and that's not to say that there's not doubles that haven't done things that are criminal that can also be used and leveraged against. So, but with that, moving into, and I think this is, we got looks like maybe 2 or 3 more. Stronger Now says, I'm glad you guys read your comments. John doesn't do so. I saw them leave a comment on Badlands Media. There are some Q decoders that say Charlie Kirk's assassination was an op and he is not dead. What do you guys think about that? What possible reason could there be for an op like this, and what would it accomplish? It's only divided MAGA, in my opinion. Thank you guys for all you guys do. You are my new Q team, and I love you guys. Here's what I'll say to that. One, I absolutely do believe Charlie Kirk is dead. I do believe the guy on the roof is the one. This is my opinion. I think Josh might have a different one here. I do believe that the guy on the roof that was arrested took that shot. I do not think that he operated alone. I do think that there is way more involved than what's being said. At that point. But here's what I'll say, and I'll turn it over to you guys. MAGA's not being divided. You gotta remember, just because social media influencers tell you that there's a divide going on doesn't mean there is. Just because you see certain personalities leaving MAGA, how long were they MAGA? Now there's going to be, residual that does, people that trail them, but it's not in a measurable amount. And this is what comes down to psychological operations. This is why they try to weaponize social media, especially on X, in these spaces. They hold these spaces where they all come into the room, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's this and it's this, and they orchestrate this skit that makes you think that. But if you think back to before these people populated on scene on social media, and you look at who was your original crew, most of your original crew is still going to be still on board with what's going on. So like one of the biggest propaganda things being pushed right now is Trump is losing support. He's gaining support.
Yeah.
If you go and actually look at what's going on and measure it, he's gaining support. So what I would say is you're seeing the people that were designed to leave MAGA, because that was the whole thing.
They probably never were in the first place.
Now, to the comment on Alpha's comment about Tyler Robinson being the actual shooter, I don't know, right? Like, we don't know. Do I think it was a 30-06 that hit him in the neck and didn't explode the back of his spine and go through the chair? No, I don't think it was a 30-06. There's no way that bullet could have been a 30-06. It's humanly impossible. And I've heard everybody defend it and not defend it. And guess what? It wasn't a 30-06. It's almost impossible. But do I think that Tyler Robinson shot it? I don't fucking know. I don't have all the evidence. I don't have all the information. Do I think he worked it alone? No, absolutely not. This was definitely not. Is Charlie Kirk dead? Yes, I do believe Charlie Kirk is dead. When you look at these types of things, you always have to look at the pros and the cons. What would be the reason for Charlie Kirk's death? Is there more benefit that outweigh it, or would there be more benefit for Charlie Kirk still to be alive, being a fighter, putting the truth out there, waking people up? Obviously, that benefit right there, to me and my perspective of the world, outweighs any benefit of him being dead and the bring MAGA together. If anything, I kind of agree with that person, is it's kind of divided the tide of separating the people who are real MAGA, loyalty to Trump and all of this, and the people that are fake MAGA, FAGA. So that's my opinion. I mean, I think a lot of more information is going to come out, and I think at the end of the day, it's all going to be revealed, as well as I don't think ops like that, like the assassinates one in broad daylight, happen. I cannot fathom that. Like the most op that I can get around is the Q400 and Richard B. Russell hijacking it and all of that. That's the only op that I've really kind of seen in real life. And the thing is that was very secluded in the context of witness people, right? So this is in front of thousands of people. You really can't fake something like that.
Yeah, that's it. If friggin' 100%. And where I'm totally on the same page with you guys is everyone wants you to make a definitive point about it. There's kind of just not enough evidence, I think, to make a definitive point on what exactly happened. It's a little frustrating from that angle, but man, I've seen that shot, unfortunately, from too many angles. It's just no way to fake that. His freaking neck exploded. Like the dude's dead. Unfortunately, I'm fully convinced that he was really shot and killed. Was Tyler Robinson working alone? Almost definitely not. And there's just a lot of weird things surrounding it all. And yeah, especially I think the proof is in the pudding of the way a lot of it came out, where there's this ready-handed, hey, I have all the text messages where he just happened to tell me everything. That's very suspicious. And there's always a lot of things like that. That reminds me a lot of the magic suitcase with 9/11. We were like, hey, we found the suitcase where they just have this fucking script of everything they did. Awesome. Well, now we know that we don't have to worry about nothing else. So whenever something's presented too easy, I'm very skeptical of it. But man, dude, that's a brutal video, dude. I think he's dead.
Yeah, he's definitely. I would tell people, if you want the long version of that, go watch the DEF CON one. I think the week, either the same week or the week following, and we covered it in depth a lot right there. And I think you guys will find that interesting. Here's a little plot twist I'll throw into it, because this is on an article I've been working on for some time. I haven't released it yet because every time I'm about to, some information comes up, and then you go, you guys know that. You're just like, you're rewriting something, fixing something. But when you look at the way his funeral was handled, and the particular phone call that came into Erica, how much do you know? I know everything. Is it possible that Charlie Kirk was part of this ghost army? And is that why certain relationships were they at? And is that why the funerals were handled the way they were? I mean, listen, look at his funeral compared to what's his name just a few days ago,
Cheney.
Dick Cheney. Yeah, thank you. Very, very interesting.
Trump ordered flags at half mast for Charlie Kirk, but not Dick Cheney.
Just saying. So last two questions. This one comes in from Yarn Addict. Question: have you guys noticed that either the intros or backgrounds on Bannon's War Room and John Solomon's Just the News have the plus signs on them? I think Steve and John are part of the Q team, and President Trump is a third non-military members of the Q. Just a thought. Here's what I'll answer real quick and get over to you guys. I do not think they're part of the Q team. I think they're utilized by the Q team, but I don't think they are. But with that, I have to go back and watch their shows to see if I see those plus signs.
Yeah, I've always felt Solomon was very much utilized and at least read somewhat in. Yeah, that post too, when people say less than 10, it says less than 10 full picture. That doesn't mean there's only 10 people involved completely. But Bannon, I don't know. I don't watch enough Bannon to make a decision on that.
Yeah, Solomon, March of 2017 was approached by military intelligence MI guys that are outside of his house when he pulled into the driveway, gave him an envelope and a folder and told him to investigate. It was the beginnings of FISAgate. He called up Sarah Carter at about midnight. They talked for a few hours going over the documents, and then they broke FISAgate a few days later. And so those people who were in front of his house that day are most likely the same team we're talking about.
Yeah,
agree, boy. And our last question comes from Jonesy Girl 1. Q posts 522. And it's the last one out of them. How freaking A, man. Listen, prayer, right? It's just so Jonesy Girl 1 says Q posts 522 at the bottom, Jeremiah 29:11. Here's what Yahweh says to you. I know all about the marvelous destiny I have in store for you, a future planned out in detail. My intention is not to harm you, but to surround you with peace and prosperity and to give you a beautiful future, glistening with hope. Listen. Who could have predicted that conversation happened last week, which would have been tailed into this one, which happened to be one of the questions that I would have grabbed, just divine intervention, man. So I'll give it to you guys real quick. I'm going to bring up the Rumble rants, and then we can get into that, and then we'll wrap up with our predictions. Don't all rush on the mic there.
I was looking at the post 522. I was looking at the post 522.
No, you're good. I got bring it up right now. I zoomed in already. All right, starting from the bottom now. We hear $10 from AOB22. Hey Alpha, do you think you can get Jay Rome to come on the show for his thoughts on Q? I don't know what you're talking about, AOB. I don't know what you're talking about. If you guys want to know what AOB is talking about, you may want to go watch Friday's edition of Only Lands on Badlands. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Very special guest.
So, hold on. Before we get into these, I want to pull this up real quick. And I don't know the meaning of this.
Hey, we're talking about Jerome right now, right?
But baby.
There's important conversations going on.
This is bugging me. So if you remember what Flynn said, he said there was no what? There was no 5D chess, right?
Yeah.
And if you went to 5D, 5 and 4, 4 DB and 4, 54, post 54 is Jeremiah 29:11. Okay? Isn't it interesting that in this post, There's actually 5 and D included in it. I just find that odd.
Nice. That's cool.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. That's just fucking
How many
weird.
D's are there in that post itself? Real quick. If you,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 D's. Huh.
You
But
guys
it's
heard it here first.
It's not 5.
9D
pre-D.
chests.
So as in there's no 5D, it's pre-D. I don't know. I don't even know what this shit means, but pull them back up, Alpha. I'm sorry.
11D chests. Drink theory is real.
We're in double D's, baby. Double D's.
It's the only D's that matter. 5D and double D's.
Yes, sir.
$10 coming in from Joey Rags. Saw the new Running Man. The comms at the end of the movie are crazy. Predictive programming at its finest. Damn, there's a list of movies I gotta watch, man.
I used to love the Running Man. There's a new Running Man?
Yeah, I want to say it's been out for like a while too.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, probably like
I'm so checked out, dude. I swear since like 2018, I think I've watched like 4 movies. Like I used to watch movies and TV shows all the time. I feel like there's no time anymore. This shit.
I'll tell you guys about an old movie I saw today, and I would highly recommend everybody watch it. The Last Castle.
Last Castle, okay.
Robert Redford. $20 coming in from Andy Pearson. Praying I can stay awake. Trump's been posting his ass off with some wild stuff, and now Alpha has popcorn. Yes, I do. Broke the rules today on the podcast. Andy, let us know if you made it through to the end, if you're still awake. $20 coming in from Mindy Q. I was going to bed soon, but I think I need another cup of coffee now. Thanks, guys.
Love
you. Love you all. $5 coming in from Daddy Dude 17. D5 equals D. Donald greater than 5 is how many letters Trump has in his last name.
Oh, I gotta show you something with that.
Hold on. He might be onto something. Trump does that post. And what did I tell you guys he left off?
Oh.
He left off his name.
He left off his name.
He left off Trump. He just did.
And Flynn said there's no
5D.
Think mirror D5, and he left off the president's name. But what was the message? It was the 18 posts, 14 minutes apart.
Wait,
there's 14th edition.
That one needs to be documented in a post. Right. That one needs to be documented in a post with the truth one that doesn't have Trump. Nice eyes on that, Daddy Do.
Yo, let me bring this up real quick. It'll take 2 seconds, but it just reminded me of something I forgot to say before. With this, we're talking about all the sedition posts. I'm saying, oh, treason and sack sedition could be the start lead-in, right? Which was like, oh, that's awesome. Look what day it was. April 10th, 2020, 4/10/20. I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yep.
4/10/20
DJT.
DJT.
So who knows, man? He's going hard right now, and I hope he does go after them. I hate what they did. That's like messed up.
That's a good catch right there too, Brad. I like that one, bro.
Yeah.
DJT right there on the
DJT action.
Oh man, that's a nice one. You guys got me all fired up, man. $5 coming in from Peyton Pooh.
Pull it back
up. What's that? Oh,
pull it back up.
My apologies, gents. $5 coming in from Peyton Pooh. The evolution of Badlands equals the reveling, the awakening. The final pieces are coming together through faith and a new trust in one another. Spread far and wide. Love you all.
Love it.
Nice.
I like that too.
Oh, and hold on, we had Daddy Do and Peyton Pooh. Are they related or something here?
Yeah.
Really, instead of living in a nursery rhyme.
Roommates over there. What's going on? And just like that, do we become best friends? That's Peyton Pooh and Daddy Do right there. $20 coming in from Jamie C. Lane. Love your show. I always learn a lot from you all, and you see how much we're getting from you guys too, so we definitely appreciate that. $10 from Missy Lola. AI actually stands for ancient intelligence.
Ooh.
I don't disagree with that.
Absolutely.
We should do a Tartaria episode.
Let's do it.
Oh, I saw what you guys were saying. What you were saying about doing a conspiracy show. Dude, you guys should definitely do that. I freaking love that shit, man.
Freaking badass. Another $10 coming in from Missy Lola. Regarding DJT, Uncle John and Tesla, look into the Men of Excellence.
Yep.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm not. What is that, Josh? Since it sounds like you're familiar with it.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
It was a hidden group of men that controlled all the government defense contracts during that time. It was basically, I think it was the CEOs of the 5 top defense contractors of that time that were said to have kind of like been the part of the secret government that was taking care of all that information and making sure that it didn't get out.
No,
I could be wrong, maybe, but that's what it sounded familiar to me from.
Yeah, I want to look up on that. That's pretty cool.
Let's see. $5 coming in from Jen Hud. Wasn't there something about 11/22, something big coming? Thank you guys. Love your show. I'm normally watching next day, so past my bedtime. Yes, because I do have it circled on my calendar, and it is from a prior show that we did. 11, I think 11/22 and 11/28 were dates that we were looking at for November, and obviously 11/22 being yesterday. We'll have to look at that, but I don't know if you guys have anything you want to add to that, but I do remember that.
I guess my head always goes to JFK 11/22, but
dollar coming in from Angie K. Wait, go see, and Ed Martin tweeted. You gotta give us more than that, Angie, because he tweets a lot. If that's regarding Susie Wiles, then yeah, I do know that he's very supportive of her. So let's see. I don't know, Brad, if you have access to be an admin rights on YouTube, but you have a weirdo in there being a weirdo.
Unfortunately, the YouTube I have no rights to.
Apologize for the weirdo there on YouTube, folks. Don't give oxygen to their fire and they'll get
classic bored. YouTube maneuver.
Dollar from the Meerkat. Great show. Sent a boost so you keep more. Thank you. We'll definitely go in and track the boost for the show tonight, you guys. $5 from Q Fanatic. Didn't hear you mention what DJT said about Wiles in front of the entire crowd and MBS dinner. Susie Wild is the most powerful woman, perhaps more than I. She can take out a country, but it's never enough.
Oh, I heard it.
He said something about, he had mentioned her too, back when he did was it the meeting he did in Qatar or out there? It was something when he brought up about how much.
That was Charlie Kirk's funeral.
Is that where it was? I know it's something.
Points Susie Wiles of Susie. Oh yeah, most powerful
yes,
woman in
Washington.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you. Dollar again. NGK. Monster Inc. is all about adrenochrome. Yes, it is. 100%. Yeah, that is a wild one. It's a Disney movie for you guys that are not familiar with it. And in the movie, the monsters pop out of the kids' closets, make the kids scream, and when the kids scream, it creates energy, and they collect that energy. And then in the end of the movie, the good monsters realize, well, if you make them laugh, it creates even more energy, and they capture that. So they go from scaring the kids to making the kids laugh. But it's all about going and taking energy from kids. So that's where you get the adrenochrome. Absolutely.
See that.
$20 from Philly Murph 29. Hey, my bros, thank God we have you mofos to keep our sanity. Are they really trying to start another pandemic in Washington State? I can tell you some stories when I worked ICU during COVID. Any of you guys got any update on patient 0 over there?
Bird flu, he's dead. And it happened just a few days after they killed all the ostriches in Canada that they were getting the antibodies from to actually kill that strain of bird flu.
Poor
can't make this shit up.
White House went over there and said, sorry, bro, they ain't doing this again. We'll take care of it.
No. The ostriches had the antibodies to cure that strain.
And they slaughtered
Canada slaughtered them. And so this dude who had this strain of bird flu just happened to die. We could be on the edge of another pandemic and economic collapse all at the same time.
That's what they wanted. Absolutely. $5 coming in from Susan DeBallo. Have you noticed front web pages of CISA and the use of NCSWIC, yes, and SWIC as acronyms of the departments? My perceptions 2020 was CISA wasn't aligned with the executive order of the election interference. Any there? I have noticed. I didn't notice the SWIC one, but I was familiar with CISA having the NCSWIC there.
Yeah, we knew that in 2020 for the departments. My perception 2020 was that CISA wasn't aligned with the executive order of election interference. I think it was, but I mean, listen, you allowed these people to hang themselves during 2020, and that's being investigated right now, whether it's Ed Martin or Jason Quiones in the Southern District. It's going to come out.
And
these
Trump
people are
just freaking posted earlier today, before all this, that the election fraud is all we should be working on. It really is, dude. Everything will be for naught if this term comes and goes and the elections aren't fixed, or at least get as close to humanly possible. This is true.
Yeah, listen, back to the truth tonight. What was trending? Tina Peters, sedition, Israel. So, and Trump went ham on truth, and he definitely mentioned the election. So I'm there with you on that, Brad. $5 from Rita Dotson. Fee Mo motherfucking. Jesus. Let Jerome go, people. Let Jerome go. $5 from Rita Dotson. Femo effing dollars to Jerome. I don't think Josh.
All you by your government.
I have no idea what you're talking about with Jerome.
You need to watch Only Lands.
You need to watch Only Lands on Friday, Bo.
I would show up. You guys invited me.
Just it's open invitation. But you you would have hit the eject button if you would have been there last Friday. you would have said, nope, I'm out. I'm out of this one. Peace, I'm out. Okay, I'll catch you guys next Friday. Dollar for dollar, ZBM. Not gonna lie, I literally fell asleep halfway through the show. It's my kids' fault. They're giving me a run for my money, LOL. But I got a good late night nap in. Love this show. Happy Turkey Week. Happy Turkey Week, bro. Absolutely. And I understand I know how exhausted it could be being a good father, man. I'm there with you. $50 from Boom Diggity. Have you guys ever looked into Waterloo Helmet, City of London connections, loyalty to the Y? I'm not familiar with this.
Waterloo Helmet. Let's see. Oh, it looks like a helmet. It looks like a Y. Could be connected to the Y in the brackets. Let's see. The Waterloo Helmet, known as the Waterloo Bridge Helmet. It's a pre-Roman Celtic bronze ceremonial horned helmet, a repose decoration in the La Tene style, dating to circa 150 to 50 BC. It's found in 1868 in the River Thames by Waterloo Bridge in London. It's now on display. Okay, so now what do you think is the significance of this again? Is then City of London connections?
Yeah, so the question again was, have you guys ever looked into the Waterloo Helmet, City of London connections, loyalty to the Y?
Well,
This is the first time I've ever even seen this.
Well, the Rothschilds really is run out of England. And it's funny because they always get pushed in with sandwiched in with Israel due to the Balfour Declaration and stuff like that. But really, I mean, the most prominent.
Go back down real quick. I wanted to read something. There was a little
existing part of the Rothschilds. It really has been run out of England.
On the importance. It says the Waterloo helmet is one of only 3 Iron Age helmets found in England, and also the only homed helmet dating to the Iron Age. I guess I thought there was something there.
It's pretty fascinating overall. The why.
I think Josh went and looked up Only Lands from Friday.
I know what Jerome is now. The look of disgust upon everybody on you is just hilarious. I see John's like alpha. I had to find out. I couldn't wait.
Let me tell you, the audience definitely felt like they had the green light to roll with that. Definitely.
Now, if you weren't Mexican, you wouldn't have gotten away with the blackface. I just hope you know.
100%. $5 coming in from Junior's Junior. Prayers for Tina are working. Let's get our girl out. Let's go. 100% agree with you that on the prayers. And that's the last of the Rumble rants. I will bring, let me bring that down. Let me go to the boost unless one of you guys already has it.
Oh shit, no. There is a way now. Apparently you can click on the name and it'll, like, if you find the name of one of them and you click on it, it'll pull them all up.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I don't know if that's new or if they were just, it's new to us, but
nobody told us.
Yeah, Dave the Meerkat, $10 boost, Q After Hours. You may not remember, but I own an America First private school, grades 6 through 12 in Silicon Valley. Belly of the Beast, terrible, tough to advertise. I cannot wait until the ed department is gone and the evil civil California government schools collapse. Great show. Awesome.
Damn, yeah, but that's got to be hard to really get the word out about that for sure, man. California's wild, dude. Is it as bad as it seems to us non-Californians, Alpha?
Yes and no. When you look at the big picture of California, it's exactly what they see. When you look at it locally, then no, I do not see that at all. You know,
that's kind of how New York and New Jersey always felt to me.
Yeah, you know, now granted, I'm Southern California, so we have agriculture and cattle all around us. We do see the increase in the beef prices, but not as significant of other areas because, like I said, we do have a ton of agriculture and cattle all around, you know, the Coachella Valley, Riverside County area out here. And then gas is kind of, it goes up a little bit, goes down a little bit. That's something we've all kind of get used to out here. The one thing that we are absolutely getting our asses kicked in is the cost of energy in California.
Always been that way. Yeah.
It is, well, it's always been that way, but it is exponentially worse. Your electric bill in some situations is anywhere from half to about 2/3 the cost of what your rent or mortgage is. Like that is how high that thing gets because we got to run the air conditions out here. So it's pretty high. Now part of me wonders if they ran them that high on purpose to push everybody towards solar because it is hard. You're not going to go down a street where half the houses don't have solar panels. Right. It's just not going to happen anymore. Even in the HOAs where historically, you know, they didn't allow that kind of stuff. Everyone, it just everywhere. There's solar everywhere. So it just kind of makes you wonder if that was a push to that, good or bad. I don't know, but it was something that I always thought about.
I think solar is the future. I don't think it's perfected enough though to like take over anything at the moment.
This is cool that when you click on it, it brings up all the freaking boosts from that channel from November 3rd to 2nd, all of them. God, that is, you know, if if that is not a new feature, then we all just need to,
That's how I felt earlier today.
need to spam John and be like, bro, really? It reminds me of the video of the guy that has a hammer and he has a nail. And he sees the video of where you put the nail in the back part of the hammer where the fangs are, and you use that to place the nail. And then and then it sticks. And so he goes and he tries it, and it works. And he just tears are down his face as he remembers his father. And he's like, "How could you betray me? Like, how could this be a tool of the hammer that you never told me, father? Like, how could you betray me?" Absolutely great. So looks like we're all caught up on that on the Rumble rants and the super or the boost, no super chats. So we'll go into the predictions. I'll lead it off with mine so I don't forget. Here is my immediate prediction, not production, and it's regarding truth. So I'm gonna go back to Donald Trump's page. And remember, you guys, if this is your first time catching Q After Hours, these are just wild predictions. Do not hold our feet to the fire. We're just trying to have fun with this and see, maybe something is, maybe something's not, but it gives us a chance to be foolish, I guess is the easiest way to say it. And so, given that we're in November, given that someone brought up the Law of War manual and we're constantly talking about 11.3, I did notice that Donald Trump's Truth Social, his follower count is at 11.1.
Yeah,
and so my wild prediction is that on the day that Trump's follower count hits 11.3 million, 11.3, some shit is gonna go down on that day. That is my wild prediction. Once 11.3 verifies and truth will be it, some shit gonna happen that day. That's my wild prediction, fellas.
Love it.
You're a conspiracy theorist, dude.
This is true. Indeed, I am. I'll give it to you guys for whatever wild predictions you got.
Well, I mean, I think some crazy stuff is going to keep happening with the psyops that we're seeing right now, with people sliding and pulling out some plants and stuff like that. But I think that we just got to watch it again and go back to Trump's Truth Social. They're letting you know that it's going to be okay. Josh went through it quick. He posted a whole bunch of Q stuff, and they know exactly what they're posting. They posted the Remember Your Oath, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Your Oath. Whole bunch of Q posts. Right after that, he posted TikTok
with the Q plus on his collar. For those that didn't see it,
Q plus. Let's go. I actually missed that. Q plus. There you go. Boom. I freaking love it. Under the collar. Right after that, he posted Do It Q. Right. Do It Q was one of the first. This is one of the first total comms. So they're talking to us right here, and then nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing can stop what is coming. And then even again posting the actual oath, which remember they asked everyone to take it, and then for everyone who was talking about, oh, why General Flynn say that? Why is he slide stuff? You know, General Flynn filmed himself and his family taking this oath right after this post. So again, I think they want you to know that even though stuff my prediction is that stuff's gonna continue to get freaking nuts, just know that it's going in the right direction, and as long as you just keep fighting in that same direction, it'll be okay.
Hold on, Brad. Hold on. Don't just tell us it's gonna get nuts. Give us something crazy, bro. Give us a wild prediction. Give us a date. Give us something. This is our chance where we get to go full retard, bro. Like, we get the green light on this one.
I mean, I think by the end of the year, you're going to see a couple arrests, like straight up actual arrests.
I agree.
Yeah.
Roger Stone style raids.
Yes. Yep.
Before I do my prediction, I had to bring this up and just look at everybody's face in this video. Besides John, but just look at everybody's face. Like, what the hell did I just get myself into?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Oh, I had to throw that out there. My prediction, this is a good one, and it's actually going around X right now, and nobody's saying when. I'm going to make the prediction before the midterm elections.
Okay.
Donald Trump will come forward and publicly announce to the world the existence of extraterrestrials.
Oh, shit. I think he knows they're there. He's already slipped a couple of times in some interviews. Yep. Remember the one when Junior was interviewing him?
Yeah, we talked about Roswell. I can't tell you, but oh my goodness, that's an interesting story. And we know he was read in because the guy who was overrunning all the SAP programs is now the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Kane. But anyways, I think that Trump is going to utilize this as a method to bring everything back. So think about how there's going to be this mass division because of the arrest, because of the political outfall from all this stuff that's going to happen with the arrest and everything. Well, we have 2026 is a very important year. Number one, we get the primaries. Then we get the elections. It's also the 250th birthday of the United States of America. So what better time to come out with this announcement than right before the midterms, putting the Republicans over, Trump in the head, pulling him well, bringing coherent unity back to the people of the world, back to the United States of America with the existence. My fellow Americans, I've been informed that extraterrestrials exist and that we have been in contact with them. It's going to come. I'm telling you. 2026.
Cool. I hope you're right.
I like it. Yeah, I hope you're right. I like it. I'm very curious if we got some neighbors in outer space. We'll find out. I'm gonna play our last.
And so, by the way, the point there is everybody will hear it. I've been saying this since 2020 when I actually got the information that Trump was going to do this before the 2020 election, and he was told not to by the extraterrestrials. I shit you not. Okay. He was told not to. They said, nope, not yet. Not yet. So this 2026 is going to be the year.
I just hope the aliens don't look like the Martians with the big eyes.
No, they look like you and me.
That's what I suspect.
They look exactly like you and me.
Well,
you want to know why? We'll have to do the Tataria one.
Buy me like 30 seconds here. I gotta bring something up real quick. So.
Well, how about this? They walk among us. They look very, very similar to you and me. My thoughts is that there's a lot of them deeply integrated into our society. And I think that you want to know my honest opinion about them is I believe that the good ones out there, the ones that are the good, that are probably helping humanity move to the next level and the next step. I think that they've been waiting for us to clean up our act, to get rid of this evil that's in the world, and that they are ready to come forth once that evil is gone. And they don't want to be they don't want to be the saviors. They don't want to be the ones that say that we did this or anything like that, but they want to introduce themselves after. But I think that they're already here. And I think
it's the tall whites, I think, are probably the good ones. Potentially.
The Nordics, they're more arrogant from what I got. Is the Nordics are the more arrogant type, pompous.
Okay. Do you have a specific thought on who might be the benevolent ETs? Is there like a race to the grays, maybe, or?
So I don't know necessarily who they are, but I will tell you this much. I believe that there is a group of extraterrestrials that look like us, speak like us, and are very much us. And the reason why that is that they are us.
I like that.
And that they're here. That humanity didn't start here.
I very much think that there are at least some people who are probably not native to this planet.
Agreed. Like Baron in Melania.
Yeah, Baron is definitely a Nordic way.
So I was trying to find I was trying to find a video clip to show you guys, but they were too hard to try to scrub through to find an appropriate moment. So I'm just going to do a still image. I want the aliens to look like this. And this comes from the movie Species. I kept it appropriate, but that's a killer alien.
But do you remember what they do in the movie? I don't want them to look like that because of what they do next. Doesn't she like grow a tail and kill people?
Yeah, right. I think so.
She ends up looking like the damn Kraken, bro. But I mean, if you're gonna go, like, I prefer that one than like, the Martian Men or something like that. All right, I'm gonna play our last.
I respect women, Alpha, or else I would laugh at that.
I respect women, Alpha, or else I'd laugh at that.
I mean, alien or not, they're all lethal, right?
My wife is definitely not watching this episode.
I'm gonna play our last commercial ad, and when we come back, you guys can let everybody know where to find you. And I think Josh got a treat for a video on the way out, so we'll see you guys in just a second.
Before skincare went synthetic, people used something simple, something real: tallow. Grass-fed and finished beef tallow is packed with vitamins A, D, E, and K. Nutrients your skin actually knows what to do with. It locks in moisture, restores elasticity, and defends against winter dryness. No water, no preservatives, and no BS. Unlike plant oils or chemical creams, tallow mimics your skin's own structure. Elbows, hands, knees, post-shave, anywhere your skin's crying for real moisture. Perfect for gifting or keeping your own skin soft when the cold hits. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code Badlands for 15% off. Ancient Care, modern truth.
Self-disclosure. So creepy the way he does that. My final
I can't get used to it.
My final thoughts, and where you can find me is the Alpha Warrior Show on Rumble. You catch tomorrow's show, Just Alpha. And just remember, you guys, morale is a weapon. There's a lot of people out there trying to destroy this community, trying to make you lose confidence in this community, trying to make you lose confidence in President Trump. There's a whole lot of winning going on. Don't allow them to take control of your mind. This is cognitive warfare. So, be in the battle, but know that we are doing a lot of winning right now. I'll give it to you guys.
How the hell did we just do 3 hours and 15 minutes? Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
On a Sunday night.
Oh,
Jeez.
fast.
I got to be up in 4 hours. Okay.
It's not the same time here as when it was for Josh.
Yeah, you guys are West Coast. Anyway, I'm Central. You can find me, redpills.tv. Best way to find all my links. Redpillproject.substack.com. A new Epstein article has released. It's going to connect all the freaking dots for you. Redpillproject.substack.com. Go check that out. On X at Real Joshua Reid. You can see those two links right there. That's one's kind of cut off. At Real Joshua Reid and then redpillproject.substack.com or just redpills.tv. Appreciate you guys.
Boom. Yeah. I just got to say what Alpha said is so true, man. Black pills are useless. They don't do anything. I mean, might as well keep up the fight. And there's definitely hope. You guys see it all the time. And you just trust in yourself. As long as you keep fighting, keep exposing the hypocrisy, you have nothing to worry about. So, yeah, and you could find me right here on Badlands Media, and you can see us all on Tuesday nights. I kick off Tuesday night at 7:30, and these two fine gentlemen finish it off at 10:30. So we'll see you there.
Absolutely. Josh, you got that video lined up?
Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued liar, go and tell that midnight rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, tell him that God's gonna cut him down. Tell him that God's gonna cut him down. Well, my goodness gracious, let me tell you the news. My head's been wet with the midnight dew. I've been down on bended knee, talking to the man from Galilee. He spoke to me with a voice so sweet, I thought I heard the shuffle of angels' feet. He called my name and my heart stood still when he said, John, go do my will. Go tell that long-tongued liar, go and tell that midnight rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, tell him that God's gonna cut him down. Tell him that God's gonna cut him down. You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Well, you may throw your rock, hide your hand, working in the dark against your fellow man. But as sure as God made black and white, what's done in the dark will be brought to the light. You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued liar. Go and tell that midnight rider. Tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him that God's gonna cut you down. Tell him that God's gonna cut you down. Tell him that God's gonna cut you down.